What's up, everybody? We just wrapped up a massive workshop. The 10K per month creator workshop just officially finished a couple minutes ago.
Good.
And it was one for the books. It was incredible. So there was hundreds and hundreds of you guys on that workshop. We actually had to buy more space for like the format of Zoom that we were using prior to the call because so many of you guys registered. And even more of you guys are registered, looking forward to this replay. So glad that we're getting it over to you. There's so much value inside of this. This is a long workshop. It gets better and better and better. So dive on into the whole thing. If you can get to the end, you're going to get a ton of value for growing your business in 2026. We talked, I got to share, I got to teach, you got to teach. Mm-hmm. We had Rebekah Soto from Soul Like the Sun as a guest expert. We had Owen Rossi from Native Release as a guest expert. We had Taylor Caruso from Caruso & Co. Marketing as a guest expert. All of them top performers in their own industries. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome, you guys. So if you are in the brand space, if you're a photographer, filmmaker, if you're in the wedding space, if you are a social media manager or content creator, you're going to get so much value out of this workshop. I promise it'll be so worth your time. And we also got to announce something really fun.
Yeah. So for the first time in like 7-8 months, the application for the Creative Rise Mastermind is launching publicly on March 1st, which is incredible. So many of you guys already knew that. You've been tracking with us on that. You've been waiting for that. If you're new to Creative Rise, the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind was an experiment we tried almost 7 years ago, June of 2019.
Yeah.
Trying to take the pillars that were helping me and my business and eventually now Christy and our businesses. And if we could break down those pillars and teach them to other creatives, would it work? Could other people implement them? And it's been a resounding yes. Over the last 7 years, 416 creatives had made $136 million using the framework, systems, tools, and strategies inside of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. And so many people are on the wait list wanting to jump into this next round. So we are taking 35 businesses. It starts on March 15th. And the good news is that the application goes live on March 1st. But the even better news is we just launched the application early to everyone who had joined the waitlist and signed up for early access. Now, early access not only gets you the application early, which is really important because we only take 35 businesses every time we do this and we get 100 plus applications. So getting an application in early is very helpful to actually get a spot, but you also get $100 off enrollment and you get access to $1,000 worth of bonus courses, which is incredible. You can get started on even prior to the mastermind starting on March 5th, which is awesome.
Which is so cool. So if you're listening to this before March 1st, go ahead and sign up for early access. You can get all the information on creativerise.com. You can join early access there where you can qualify for all of the bonuses. You can apply right now. But if this is after March 1st, you can just directly apply at creativerise.com. And we would love to see your application come through. So if you are just getting started or you're already someone who's hitting over 6 figures in your business, this is built for you. And we are so excited for March 15th to come to partner with 35 businesses for 6 weeks to absolutely crush it.
Yeah, around 15. So if you want to really learn more about the mastermind, or even most importantly, you just want to see how it's worked for other people just like you in your industry, go to creativerise.com, link in the description. There is endless videos and testimonials of people just like you explaining what their experience was like and where their businesses are at now, which is awesome. So head on over there, guys. But we are so pumped for this workshop replay. We're so glad you're here. Big shout out to Rebekah, to Owen, and to Taylor. We're so grateful for them coming on as guest experts. Their value is just indescribable. You're going to hear it. It's so awesome. And we like to think that what we taught was also pretty good as well. So
pretty cool.
Hopefully
cool.
It's super helpful for you in growing your business in 2026. So here's the replay, the official replay for the 2026 10K per month creator workshop. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. It's also late at night. We're trying to get you guys this replay. So here's the official replay for the 10K per month creator workshop. Check it out. We are going to get started here. So here's my question for you. Throw it in the chat. Who's ready to learn some tools, some strategies to build consistent $10,000 months in your business? Throw me in the chat.
Throw me in the chat.
I love it.
Amazing.
Also,
real quick announcement. If you heard, we are giving away one of these Peak Design tripods, which, if you know, are incredible tripods. We use this thing all the time. It is our baby. Love it.
Our favorite tripod. And the last time we did this workshop, we also gave one of these away, and we ended up sending one all the way to New Zealand. Someone from New Zealand won, which was awesome. She was so stoked. So stay to the end. We're going to announce who wins this, which is awesome.
Not to be live on the call.
Yes.
Wait, so make sure you stay on to the whole time. And you're going to want to, because it's honestly so.
Yeah, so good to see you guys. I'm glad you guys are all stoked. So if this is your first time joining a Creative Rise workshop, I want you to throw it into the chat. Throw it into the chat. Type me.
Love it.
Type me.
Some awesome. So many new people. I love it. This is so cool. Amazing.
Boom.
Well, you guys are brand spanking new, someone says. We are so excited you guys are here. If you're joining us for the very first time, you're going to get a ton of value. So get your notebook out. We have 3 guest experts that are joining us as well, who are absolutely incredible. So you guys are going to get so much value out of this.
It's going to be so awesome. So this is our promise to you. If you've never been on a workshop with us before, we're so glad you're here. If you have, actually throw it in there. If you've been on a workshop with us, just throw throw the number 2, meaning this is my second workshop. We've done a lot of these, but maybe you've been to more. I love it. Love it. Corey, what's up? Carly, hello. Well, this is our promise to you. Whether you're listening to a workshop, you're engaging with us, whether you are listening to our podcast, wherever you're engaging with Creative Rise, this is what we want our promise to be all the time. We want to cover as much value as humanly possible as we can with the time we have with you. And tonight, it's going to be over the next 2 and a bit hours. So we're going to be sharing what has helped Christy and I personally build 6-figure businesses in the creative space over the last decade each, so 2 decades total. And we even hit $100,000 last month in our business. And we were selling, we're going to talk about it later, but photo, video, brand strategy project, and a engagement shoot, which is really fun. So we're going to break down some of the systems and strategies. Jacob, will you share this document afterwards? We won't be sharing this, but we will be sharing the recording. So there will be a replay going out on our podcast and on our YouTube tomorrow morning. So if you have to jump off, bummer, please don't jump off. There's going to be more and more value as the time goes, but you can always rewatch this tomorrow on the replay, which is really cool. So stoked for that. But here's what we are covering. So to back up that promise and really try and give you guys as much value as possible, here's what we're going to be covering tonight. Throw it in the chat which one you're the most excited for as we break these down. So number 1, going to be breaking down the 4 stages of business growth. Number 2, we're going to be talking about how to build a proper offer. What you sell is incredibly important to the growth of your business and the health of your business. Number 3, how to actually price that offer. We're talking about 6-figure pricing strategy. We're then going to be talking about how to build a social funnel that fills your calendar. And then we have some amazing guest experts that are going to be talking. So we got Rebekah. Rebekah is a wedding photographer. She'll be talking about how she went from $3,000 weddings to $18,000 weddings. That's insane. Throw crazy in the chat if you think that's crazy, because we think that's crazy. She's awesome. Owen is going to be talking about how he went from $4,000 a month to $25,000 a month in retainers. Anybody else want to be doing $25,000 per month in retainers? Throw me in the chat. Owen is killing it. You're going to learn from Owen on one thing that's really helped him get there. And then you're also going to hear from Taylor, who is killing it right now in the social media management space, which Christy and I argue is potentially the fastest growing part of the creative industry right now. And it touches everything from photo to video. And so it's very important you understand the opportunity in social media management. She's going to talk about how she went from $800 months to $3,000 offers per month. And she's currently doing like $13,500 per month in retainers. Taylor is killing it. So this is what we're going to be covering in our time today. Plus, we got some Q&A at the end. So it's super important you stay to the end, because all of this is only as good as you can implement it. So if you ever have any questions about implementation, Q&A is where we're going to try to answer as many questions as we can, get to know you guys, and help you work through some of the things that you're wanting to implement into your business, which is going to be really fun. Throw Q&A in the chat if you're stoked for Q&A, because I love Q&A.
Sure questions until then, because we are excited to answer them. So make sure you don't forget, if you get a question, write them down somewhere, or you can throw them into the actual Q&A box that we've got in your Zoom room. So just go ahead and hit the Q&A. I don't know if I'm seeing that. Okay, there it is. Everybody, here's what I want you to do. I want you to locate the Q&A panel. So at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there should be a Q&A panel. When you've located it, just throw me in the chat. Tell me that you found it. We want to make sure you guys find it. Yeah. You can put, awesome. Thank you. We want you to put your questions into the Q&A panel. As you can see, the chat is firing. It's going to be very hard to keep track of your questions in the chat. So throw your questions in the Q&A panel, and that's where we are going to be taking questions for Q&A at the end of this. And as Christy said, also, we have the Peak Design tripod giveaway. It's about $400 tripod, so we want you to win it. We're going to be giving that away at the end, so make sure you stay to the end. So here's a little bit of proof, though, to show you that the systems, strategies, and frameworks we are talking about tonight actually work. So Christy and I have gotten to work with industry-leading brands from all over the world on awesome trips, awesome campaigns, and these are some of them using the same strategies and frameworks that we are going to be sharing with you tonight. And if you're in the wedding space, this is also encouraging. The same systems, the same strategies have also helped Christy and a ton of us go all over the world to shoot weddings at all of these locations
Actually, Christy shot weddings at all of these locations. That's all Christy's work. Throw a beautiful in the chat if you think Christy's work is beautiful, because I do. It's so good. Anyway, so the same stuff that has helped Christy shoot all over the world, stunning, there you go, is going to be the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. So a little bit about me, though. If you're new here, there was a ton of you guys that said this is your first workshop. If you're new here, my name is Joey. Obviously, this is Christy. We are married and we live in Northern California. But this is a look into my life like back a decade ago, okay? Maybe even further than that. So I started my first business, a video agency, when I was in 2014. So that is, you know, a decent amount of time from now, 12 years from now, 12 years from back then. And this is what my life looked like back in the day. So a couple of things right here. If you can tell me what the camera on the left photo is, you can win some bonus points. If you can tell me what the camera is in the middle photo, you might win some bonus points here. We got Canon T3i. It's not a Canon T3i. It's not an 80D. Anybody else? Middle, Ryan Hamilton. You're a goat. He just said a GH4. You got it, Ryan.
I still like how he says middle is, not.
Yes, I love it. So that is a Nikon D5100 on the left. That's a GH4 in the middle and a GH5 on the right. Anybody remember GlideCam, the thing I'm holding in the photo on my right? That is a throwback. You can, if you know what that is, you've been around a while. But this is what my business looked like when I first started it back in 2014. And to be honest, I was having a lot of fun, but there was so much that I did not understand. And it felt very much like I was pushing a rock uphill. I started my business when I was in high school, and I did not understand sales, marketing, offers, any of the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. And so it felt like I was pushing a rock uphill. You might feel the same way, but there is hope, because as I started to figure out those things, I went from a broke high school student to owning a six-figure content agency. And these are some photos of places my camera has taken me as I have shot photo and video and done brand strategy and social for brands of different sizes and different locations all over the world, which has been really, really awesome. I've gotten to work with a lot of my dream companies. If you look at the bottom, some of the companies on the bottom there were just absolute like dreams as I was growing up, especially in the outdoor industry, a lot of them in the outdoor industry. So that's a little bit of more about me. Today, we run a company called Spears Collective together, but we're going to show you my favorite photo of Christy.
Oh, gosh.
Right here. This photo on the right, guys.
Loves this photo. So I got my start a little bit differently than Joey. Joey started business when he was, how old were you? 14?
Yeah, I was a teenager. Yeah,
you were so young. I got my start after college, but I had graduated from college, and maybe you resonate with this. Student loans were hitting hard. I was working for a nonprofit at the time, drilling wells in Nicaragua, just such a passion project, such a dream for me. But I was working for a nonprofit, which I always say is very non-profitable. So at the time I was like, okay, I got to start making money somehow. So I actually fell into my creative business a little bit more out of the urge to make money than it was just out of pure passion, even though I also had a passion for it. Obviously, you can see the passion on the right side of the screen.
This is what I want to know.
What I'm trying to accomplish.
Anybody else know what's going on there? Say me in the chat if you've done some of that.
This business for a decade, and I think this is coming back around. I think I've been in long enough that like the fashion cycle is now coming back around, and we are, yes, getting the beautiful bokeh in the shot. But this was me when I was just getting my start on, basically, that was a nicer lens, but I shot my first wedding season on $100 kit lens, like my whole wedding season on one $100 kit lens. It was crazy.
The Flickr era, so true.
Flickr era.
Kathleen, that's so true.
They don't call me out like that, but this was me. So I was so broke. I could barely make my student loan payments. I was working for a nonprofit. I was working like 3 jobs. And I was like, you know what? Let's give wedding photography a try. I had one friend who just randomly was like, hey, can you shoot my wedding next week? And I was like, sure. Jumped in there and absolutely fell in love with it. And I said, you know what? I'll give myself 6 months. And if I can become a wedding photographer and have a full season booked out in 6 months, I will not become a lawyer. That was my thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll not become a lawyer. And if I can't, I'm going to go to law school. Anyways, 6 months later, was booked full-time as a wedding photographer, which is awesome, which then led me to be a destination wedding photographer and travel all around the world. We talked about some of those places a little bit earlier. I also started dabbling in brands into my wedding career as well, just kind of on the side. That ended up blowing up quite a bit to the point where I actually went fully into commercial work for a couple years. And now I do both. So I get to shoot weddings and brands, and it's the absolute best. So if that's something you want to do, trust me, it's possible, it's doable, and it's so fun.
Throw a me in the chat if you are from the wedding industry. Let me see a me. Hey, if you're from the brand industry, throw a brand in the chat.
Let's go. And actually, before we just move on, this upper left-hand corner is my favorite photo ever. The nonprofit that I used to work for, I actually got to drill a well in Nicaragua with my business, which was absolutely incredible and such a huge goal of mine. And it was cool because I actually got to shoot a wedding and drill a well in Nicaragua in the same week. It was massively amazing. So you guys, if you have big dreams of where you want to take your creative business, I'm telling you, it is possible.
Yeah, I love it. Best of both worlds. So a little bit more about Creative Rise. If you're new here, we're about to get into the goods here. We have made and helped make for our clients, for people that have gone through our 6-week mastermind, $136 million over the last 6.5 years. Now, why do I mention that, Joey? Why does Joey throw out a massive number like that? I say that to encourage you 2 things. Number one, what we're going to be teaching you tonight is the result of these frameworks helping people, and it builds to a number like that. So get excited about that. Number 2, there are way too many people that talk about, oh, creatives don't make money. You're just got to be broke, the creative struggle. And I just want to encourage you, we are not like that. We don't talk like that. We don't endorse that. Being a creative is one of the most fruitful industries to be in right now, especially in 2026, whether you're in the wedding industry or the brand industry or the social industry. So if you are used to the conversation around like, it sucks to be a creative, you don't make any money, we're changing that conversation tonight. We've been changing that conversation for 6 years. Now, how do we do that? We've got a 6-week mastermind. We've got a weekly business podcast. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you'll really enjoy that. Every week we drop an episode. We got some courses and tools, in-person events, community platform. And obviously we do some live free events like this, which is really fun. So we are all about making sure that you guys understand that the creative industry, there's never been a better time to be a creative. And hopefully tonight is a good example of that. So who's ready to get started? Throw another me in the chat. You can tell we love the crowd work here. We love seeing you guys dialed in. CJ, good to see you. Olivia, Corey, Sky, I love it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be covering tonight, I want you to get out your notes, put away distractions. I want you to dial in on the business ladder, okay? So there is 4 stages of business growth. And if you do not understand these 4 stages, unfortunately, I'm speaking from experience, you will get stuck in a stage and then you will feel like, I don't feel like I know how to get out of where I'm at, or my business feels like it's capped. Anybody ever felt like your business has been capped before and you're working really hard, but you're not necessarily getting any more results? Throw me in the chat if you feel like it. I'm going to explain why that is happening, okay? So the 4 stages are idea, build, growth, and chaos. Now, let me break these down, okay? I want you to take notes on these. The idea stage, this is the first stage of any business, any successful business for sure. The idea stage is where you clarify your clientele, you clarify your offers, you clarify your pricing, and you clarify your positioning. So this is, who are you selling to? What are you selling to them? What are your services? You know, what's your pricing on those services? And then what's your brand look like? Like, how are you positioning your brand for that ideal client? That is the idea stage. Every business starts with an idea. Then you go into...
You are in the idea stage.
Yes. Then you go into the build stage. Now, this is the stage that a lot of people get excited about, but this is also the stage that a lot of people start to get trapped in, okay? And I'm going to break down why in a second. The build stage is where you create systems for marketing, for lead generation, sales, and fulfillment. So you're like, okay, I know who I'm selling to. I know the services I want to sell. I know my pricing. I know my ideal client. Now I got to start, building out my socials, building out my website, building out my processes and pitch decks and all that, right? This is all the build stage. Then you go to the growth stage. Now, this is the stage that everyone thinks is going to last forever. I know I always thought this stage was going to last forever. Once you start growing, you're like, dang, I'm starting to make a little bit of money here. I can't believe people are paying me for this. Someone just inquired through my website. This is awesome. Things are working, and you grow. And then all of a sudden, at the end of your day, you realize, man, I've been in the growth stage for a month now, and I feel like things are going really well. You wake up a month later and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like things are going well anymore. I don't understand why they're not working though, because I'm doing the things I was doing when it was working. What's changed? And that is the result of you ending up in this stage. This is the 4th stage most people don't realize exists, and it is the chaos stage. The chaos stage is the turbulence hits because your current systems cannot scale further. So here's what I want you to do. Throw me in the chat if you feel like you are working as hard as you can on things that used to work, but they're not giving you the same results they used to. Throw me in the chat if that is you. I know there's going to be a lot of people that resonate with this. Yes. I resonate with this. And here's what we need to understand about all 4 of these stages. It's actually a ladder that you're supposed to go up and down as many times as you can in a year. Each one of these stages isn't a destination. So here's the mistake that I made in the early stages of growing my business. I got to the build stage and I was like, this is awesome. And I built out everything, right? Then I get into the growth stage and I thought growth was going to last forever, as I said earlier. And then I quietly slipped into the chaos stage where no longer the systems that I had built out the build stage were serving the business that I was trying to grow for tomorrow and the future. And therefore, my business was silently dying and it felt very chaotic. It felt like things weren't working anymore. I was starting to get confused. My pricing wasn't aligned with clients. And so this is what I want you guys to understand. Your growth is entirely determined by how many times you can complete this loop in a given year. So the goal is not to go from idea to growth and stay there. The goal is to go from idea to chaos through all the stages as quickly as you can. And then what do you do when you get to chaos? How do you get out of chaos? How do you go from $75,000 a year? You've worked really, really hard for it, but you feel limited. How do you go to 120 the next year? Well, you have to go back to the idea stage, re-clarify your offers, shift your pricing, maybe even change your ideal client, right? Go up in terms of the quality of that ideal client. Roxana, exactly. You have to start over with an idea. You have to go back to the idea stage. So
drop
right off the bat,
drop in the chat, which phase are you in?
Yes.
Are you in idea? Are you in build? Are you in growth? Are you in chaos? Go ahead and drop in the chat. Got a bunch of
I'm seeing a lot of build. I love
ideas.
Chaos. I'm seeing some chaos.
Some growth. Awesome.
Yeah. So this is really, I hope this is really encouraging to you, because before I understood this growth ladder, it was very confusing to me why things were growing all of a sudden and then things why they weren't growing. And it felt like I couldn't get out of that loop. When I finally realized this, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. So that's why I'm wanting to share it with you. So take a screenshot of this, pull out your phone, don't get distracted, but take a photo of this. This is super, super important. Now, here's what we are planning on doing with you tonight. Taking the 4 stages of business, what we want to focus on now is helping you actually get some of the tools that are going to help you in the idea and in the build stage. Say, I got you, Joey. Throw Joey in the chat if you're with me. If you're still with me, you're like,
Joey.
pump me up here as we get into this, guys. It's going to be great. All right. Thank you, Andrew. I love it. All right, here we go. So the first part of the build stage that we are going to be talking about tonight is how to build a solid 6-figure offer, okay? So just to clarify this really quick, what is a 6-figure offer? Well, $10,000 per month creative businesses, they do not sell everything to anyone. I can promise you, when I was running my small video company, and that's all it was way back in the day, and I was taking everything from, athletic jobs to events to weddings. I even somehow ended up shooting some women's health stuff that got kind of crazy as a young dude. I was like, this is the whole world. I don't understand. I was doing everything for everyone, and it felt like I was just in this business that was never going to grow as quickly as possible because of the second line right here. $10,000 per month businesses focus on scalable 6-figure offers. Now, Joey, what is a scalable 6-figure offer? Take a photo of this, okay? Take some notes, write this down. Does this apply if you're in your first year? Absolutely. Great question. A scalable offer is a clear solution. Point number 1, it's a solution. It solves a problem you provide to a specific problem. It is now packaged in a way that gets people excited to pay you for it, okay? That is a scalable offer. It's a clear solution provided to someone with a specific problem, packaged in a way that makes your ideal client very excited to actually pay you for it. Now, this is where your niche comes from. We hear all the time people say, oh, what niche should I pick? Should I pick the commercial real estate niche? Should I pick the, tourism niche? Should I pick the product niche? Should I pick the wedding niche? You're asking the wrong question. You don't want to pick a niche based off of industry necessarily. You want to pick a niche based off of problems. You want to build a solution, build offers for a specific set of problems. Now, eventually you might niche yourself as you grow into a more specific client, but the best way to niche yourself is by niching yourself on scalable offers with a clear solution to a specific problem. So the reason why this is important is because business growth becomes exponential. Take a photo of this when you get known and paid for doing one thing really, really well for the right clientele. So here's a little chart that I built out. This is often the experience of a lot of people. Every single person on this call probably knows somebody. Maybe it's a friend of yours, maybe it's a family member who started their own creative business. Maybe they were a photographer, maybe they're a filmmaker, a designer, a social media manager, a content creator. Maybe you started UGC and you got a year or two into it and you could feel a little bit of momentum, but it never really took off. And at some point you had to ask yourself the question, is this worth it? I don't know if this is ever going to take off the way I want it to take off. You might have gotten discouraged, or your friend might have gotten discouraged and you might have walked away from it. Well, it's because there is a growth curve, an exponential growth curve when you niche into becoming known and paid for doing one thing really, really well. And that's often a mistake a lot of people make, because they spread themselves too thin and they're never known for doing one thing well. And when you become known, you can see it right here. When you become known for one offer with one clientele that you're really, really good at doing, that's when the business takes off. So here's a couple examples of this. This is our friend Lucas Mann. Lucas is awesome. Maybe you follow him on Instagram, Exploro Man. He's from the Northwest. He's from Vancouver area up in Canada. And Lucas does not sell photos or videos, even though it practically looks like he sells photos and videos. He runs a content agency, and Lucas specifically sells, this is the difference between a bad offer and a good scalable offer. Lucas sells attention and brand discovery. Those are the outcomes he helps sell to high-end construction and agricultural businesses. And Lucas, literally, when we met him, he was dropping out of college a couple of years ago, and he just sent me a message a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, dude, our business did over $500,000 this year. That's crazy, right? That is a scalable offer. Or Victoria. Victoria is amazing. We love Victoria. She's also from Canada. She's from the Toronto area. Victoria does not just sell brand photos. She's a brand photographer for female personal brands. Victoria sells confidence and exposure to female entrepreneurs who market their businesses online. Victoria went from $4,000 a month. When she clarified this offer, she's now doing $10,000 months, right? Six-figure business, which is incredible. Jared, shout out to Jared. Jared, I saw you in the chat. Shout out Jared in the chat. Jared is awesome. Jared is not just a real estate photographer and filmmaker. Jared sells an effortless content experience with super, super fast turnarounds for realtors who need to sell more homes and they need high-end content next day in order to do it. Jared's doing over $200,000 a year. It's a scalable offer. Rebekah is going to be one of our guest experts tonight. She is amazing. Rebekah does not just sell wedding photos. She's not a cookie cutter wedding photographer. Rebekah sells a wedding and photo experience that is thoughtfully curated for a very high-end fashion magazine style bride who's been planning her wedding day since she can remember. And Rebekah's selling weddings she's selling weddings for $10,000 per wedding. That's insane, right? So it's very important we continue to look at these and realize Owen is also going to be a guest expert tonight. He went from $150K a year. Once he really dialed in his offer, he's doing $350K a year because he's focusing on not just selling photos and videos. He's selling higher ROI on paid ads content for direct-to-consumer product brands. We got Matt. Here's another example. Matt is selling the ease for brands to show up online every day with his done-for-you social content strategy and shoots. He's not just a social media content guy. He is specifically selling the strategy side, and he went from $15,000 a year to $25,000 a month. Then you got Madison, social media manager. Shout out to all the social media managers in the chat.
Yes.
Madison literally in 6 weeks built $100,000 per year run rate business, meaning she grew her business from zero by the end of the 6 weeks to $8,333 every single month in recurring revenue, because she wasn't just selling social media management. I can help you with your social media management. No, she was selling a growing online brand without having to lift a finger. She's doing all the work for them, right? Then you got Christy and I. I'll end with this one here. Just trying to drive this into you. It's all about outcomes. It's all about focusing on problem solving. Christy and I do not just sell photos, videos, and logos. We do photo, we do video, we do brand strategy, but we don't just sell that stuff. We lead with the fact that we do done-for-you brand builds and product launches, campaign launches for growing brands that need to launch fast, look good, and scale online. And last year in 2025, Christy and I actually had our first ever $100,000 month, which is crazy that that's even coming out of my mouth. I would have never, ever thought that that was possible 10 years ago, 13 years ago, right? But it's super important when you get dialed in on a scalable offer, things like this can happen, which is really cool. So here's what is really important. I want you to write this down, okay? The point is what you sell matters, okay? Your services really matter, but how you sell it, how you package that, that's called building your offer. How you package that matters just as much. So here's an easy way to describe your offer. If you're taking notes, I want you to take a screenshot of this, write this down. I want every single person on this call, if I was to call you tomorrow and say, what is your offer? I want you to be able to answer this by reading me this statement or rolling this statement off your tongue and being able to tell me what you do. So here's an easy way to describe your offer. I help ideal client get ideal outcomes by ideal process or ideal way you do it, right? So a couple examples of this could be like, I help real estate agents get more traffic online so they can sell more houses by my done-for-you content experience with next-day turnarounds, okay? If you're in the real estate niche, photographer, filmmaker, rip that off, steal it, right? That's an example. So bonus add-ons right here. If you can also add on into the statement how fast you deliver, which I just did in that example, or you can add on how you reduce the client's time or energy commitment, meaning the easier it is for someone to say yes to you because they're not having to do a ton of work, you're doing it, obviously the better the offer is going to be. So take a screenshot of this. But here's the thing, okay? If you want to get our full offer sheet, would love to give it to you for free. We would take 10 hours tonight if we tried to break every single thing down for you piece by piece. We don't have that much time. So here's a really good way for you guys to get this offer sheet. Jump on over to Instagram really quick, pull your phone, go to Creative Rise on Instagram, and I want you to just DM us the words offer sheet, and we're going to automatically DM you this right here. Now, what's cool about this is that this is an offer sheet. You can print this. You can put it into your own Notion deck. You can write it all out, whatever you want to do, however you want to take inventory of this. You need to be able to answer all of these questions in order to build out a good, scalable, and clear six-figure offer. And this is our template for six-figure offers. When Christy and I are going to launch a new offer, we literally use this page and we answer all these questions. So the first one's, who's your ideal client? What problem are you solving for them? What is the desired outcome you are creating for them? You have to know the answer to that. That is why they're going to say yes to you. What are the deliverables, AKA what are your solutions look like? What's your execution plan? Step 1, step 2, step 3. How are you going to make it happen for them? How am I saving them time and effort? How quickly am I delivering? And then what's the price point? Okay. So go to Instagram, DM us right here, offer sheet, and we'll get that over to you. Someone asked, is there a underscore on it?
Just offer sheet.
No underscore, just offer sheet, plain and simple.
That's great.
DM us that right there, and we're going to get that over to you, which is going to be really helpful. So I'm super excited to see the offers you guys come up with. So here's my question for you. I want you to throw it in the chat. What is one offer that you want to be known for? Again, we're talking about becoming known for something. What do you want to become known for in the next 6 months? Throw it in the chat. Let's see it. What do you got? Typing. Okay, turnaround time. Cool. Content creator for being iconic. What you guys got? Throw it in the chat. What's an offer? Strategic content, creative director, cinematographer.
Helping impactful businesses build more trust.
I love that. A story-driven video. Will, I love that. Will Somerville, that's awesome. Super good.
That's so good, you guys.
Cool. So guys, make sure you use the offer framework we just talked about, and make sure you dial in your offers. You do not want to look like a broad stroke creative selling the same thing everybody else
You are not just an artist, you are a problem solver. So
yes.
Get that in your brains. It will help you build these six-figure offers.
Super important.
And now we are going to talk about how to price them.
Let's jump into some pricing. Who's ready for some pricing? Throw pricing in the chat. This might be...
Who feels ever confused by pricing? Or who feels not very confident around pricing?
Throw me in the chat if you feel like pricing is one of the bottlenecks in your business.
Yes.
I definitely relate with you. In the beginning...
Yes, with the money side.
Yes.
My favorite.
In the beginning of my career, guys, pricing was like the hardest thing because I had no idea what was going on. Here's the other thing about the creative industry. People do not share things like we are about to share. We're going to break down some of our pricing for you. We're literally going to give you a pricing model at the end of this. People don't talk about this stuff openly. There's a lot of like hush around it, which is why pricing is difficult. So hopefully this is going to really break some of those ceilings for you in the pricing game. So right off the bat, okay, six-figure creative businesses do not just charge based off of their time. This is going to be one of the biggest shifts I hope you get on this entire workshop. Six-figure businesses focus on pricing strategies based around value, okay? Now, I don't know if you've heard this before. If you have, I want to make sure you've implemented it, because if you have not implemented it, you will not be maximizing what your business is capable of in 2026. So I want to talk about hourly pricing versus value-based pricing, okay? These are two very different things. The hourly pricing is the worth of your time. It's the worth of my time. You're walking around with a little sign above your head, and it's like everywhere you go, you got like $150 per hour above your head, right?
And this is what most creatives do traditionally, right? They have a day rate, they have a half day rate, or they have an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Right. That is most of the creative industry, and most people will tell you that is how you have to charge. And we're here to tell you that's not true.
Throw me in the chat if you've been advised or you've just naturally done it. You rock your business off day rates, hourly rates, full day rates, editing rates. It's very common because it's quote unquote the easier way to do it, but you always end up getting the short end of the stick. And I'm going to show you why in a second, okay? So hourly pricing is the worth of my time. Value-based pricing is the worth of the value I create. This is a huge shift, okay? Huge shift. Now, here is why you want to be charging for your value. So when you charge for your time, if we look on the left here, take a photo of this if you really want to debrief this later. This is important to understand. When you charge for your time, hourly rates, day rates, half day rates, you are going to get compared to others because you are just literally a commodity with your time. They're going to take your hourly rate, compare it to somebody else's hourly rate, and they're going to go, well, who's cheaper and who looks like they've got decent work? We're going to go with them. Number two is you get punished for efficiency. Having an hourly rate means, hey, I only get paid more money if I work more, which means if I'm way faster than the guy down the street, it only takes me 7 hours to complete a project and it took him 21, he gets paid more, or most likely he's getting paid more. That sucks for me if I'm an efficient worker. Number three, it's a race to the bottom. You are going to get compared to the bottom. Now, if we switch over and we end up looking here at the value, when you charge for your value / the outcomes of what you're actually producing and doing, this is why value-based pricing is so great. You're charging for what you're actually creating in terms of value. So your income ceiling goes way up, okay? You get rewarded for efficiency, meaning if you're fast, you might actually get paid more for quick turnarounds, which is amazing, rather than getting paid less on an hourly model. And you are much more respected. And the reason why you're more respected is because you're actually now more of a partner who they're focusing on hiring to help them achieve something. You're not just somebody they're renting their time from. So you're automatically going to get more respect for that. So let's continue to get into this idea. Time is infinite. Time is finite. Value is infinite. So you have to charge accordingly. Charge for what you have more of. Really what this means is you will always be able to give a client more value than you'll be able to give them time. Okay. So you want to charge for that value. So here's a couple of things that you need to take into consideration when charging for your value. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys are sitting here in the chat going, this sounds great, but practically, how does this work, right? I'm going to show you how this practically works right here. There are 4 hinges that when you understand, you can really understand how to price for value. Number 1 is ROI. ROI is the return on investment. This is the biggest thing when thinking about charging for your value. When a client comes to me and they want to be, working with us and they're like, hey, what's the price on that going to be? The first question that I'm asking myself is, well, what do I think they're trying to accomplish? And what is my contribution to what they're trying to accomplish going to look like? If I'm going to help a small t-shirt company that's running their first line of t-shirts launch and they're hoping to sell out $10,000 worth of t-shirts, that's a pretty small accomplishment to give value to as a photographer. I might only be able to charge, $500 to shoot that line if the whole business is going to make $10,000 versus if I'm working with a company that is selling high-end wedding dresses and we're going to shoot a new line of wedding dresses and they're going to be selling 50,000 wedding dresses for $700 a piece to wedding stores all over the globe. Well, obviously my contribution to that problem that they're trying to solve is worth a lot more because the stakes are way higher because there's way more to be earned by them, right? So I'm always thinking about what is my return on investment for the client when they decide to work with me or work with Christy, okay? I'm going to break that down for you real quick. There's 2 different ways that you need to think about ROI. So creatives that make $10,000 per month focus on high ticket products and high ticket or high volume sales businesses, okay? So this is where the bigger budgets are because there's more attainable ROI. Let me break this down for you really simply. On the left, you have pricing. On the bottom, you have high ticket and volume. High ticket means how much do they sell a product or service for, okay? I just have this right here. This is from McDonald's earlier. Get a little bit of caffeine before this call. Is a Diet Coke. How much was this, Christy?
Oh, that was a deal. So it was 29 cents.
29 cents. This is not a high ticket product.
Yeah.
Now, is this a high volume product? How many of you guys think this is high volume? How many of these does McDonald's sell a day?
A lot.
Millions of these across the world, right? This is an incredibly high volume product, but it's not a high ticket product. Then you look at something like, let's say a Porsche dealership, okay? A Porsche dealership, they're selling high-end cars, so they're high ticket products, and they're also selling a ton of them. They got high volume. That is a high ticket and high volume business model. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys and have you understand is the higher ticket and the higher volume the business is in terms of how much sales they do, the pricing that you can charge tends to go up to the right because you're contributing to a very large problem and a very large outcome that they're going to get a lot of support from. So here's a very simple example of this. This is 2 pieces of work that I've shot. Both of these images I shot back, I think in 2017 or 2018, when I was working with this company, Palm Coolers, and this company, Yeti. A lot of you guys have heard of Yeti. Almost no one on this call has probably ever heard of Palm Coolers. Now, I shot the exact same campaign for both of these shoots. You might even think the photo on the left is a better photo, okay? The funny thing about this was both of these campaigns were 10 images. One campaign I charged $500 for, one campaign I charged $5,000 for. Now you would say, Well, Joey, there's a difference there, because one's like a bigger company, right? They got more money to spend. That's not the reason why you charge more. I charged more for the exact same style campaign with the exact same style deliverables, simply because Yeti is way higher ticket. Their coolers were like 3 times the price, and their volume is 1,000 times higher than Palm Coolers was back in the day. Palm Coolers is out of business now because they had such small volume, Yeti had crushed them. So this is a good example of, if you charge day rates, if you charge hourly, if you charge half day rates, you would have had to charge basically the exact same amount of money for this same 2 projects, even though you're shooting the same product. It probably took you the same amount of time. It had the exact same amount of deliverables. But for some reason, I was able to charge $5,000 where I was only able to charge $500 there. So I'm trying to help you guys understand what you charge should be based on value and your contribution to value rather than just on your time. So this is how ROI plays into this. Now, the second thing that factors into value-based pricing is your turnaround time. Anybody here have an Amazon subscription? Throw me in the chat if you have an Amazon subscription. You pay the whatever it is, $12.99 per month or whatever it might be. We love Amazon. We buy lots of stuff off Amazon because their turnaround time is exceptional, right? You order something, it can be at your house later that night or that next day. People value speed. The faster somebody can get a solution, the more they are going to be able to pay for it. So turnaround time is a super, super important aspect of value. So here's what's really important about this. I know a lot of creatives that we meet all the time that say things like, I'll be like, hey, so you're a wedding photographer. They're like, yeah. I'm like, hey, well, what's your turnaround? Like, how quickly do you get your images off? They say, I send off my galleries in like 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm going, wow, like that's a long time after you said the best day of your life. Do you think if you could charge more, would you be willing to deliver it in 7 days? And they're like, well, yeah, that'd be hard, but like, yeah, that'd be awesome. If I could charge an extra $1,500, I'd probably do it. I'm like, great. Well, how do you build the systems to deliver quicker? Because you can charge more for that because you're adding more value, right? So the faster the turnaround time, the more value there is. Therefore, you can charge more. This one's very simple. The third factor to charging for your value is simply quality. Obviously, I had someone comment this on me the other day on Instagram when I talked about this. They're like, well, this is dumb. Quality shouldn't be a factor because everyone should have quality of work. I'm like, yeah, but your quality gets to a certain point where you're hireable, but then there's people that are way better, right? Like if your quality is exceptional, you're doing something else that other people cannot do, you're adding value creatively, and your quality is there, obviously people are going to pay for that, right? Last but not least, this is the one that a lot of people neglect when they think about charging for their value. It's risk, okay? So how likely is it that the company is going to get what they want? So I'll give you a very, very quick example. There is a retainer client that Christy and I have. It's a massive beverage company, multinational beverage company. And last year we shot probably 12 campaigns for them, I think. Maybe last year we shot a ton for them. That client alone was worth over 6 figures to our content agency last year, which is awesome. We're super grateful for it. They continue to hire us time and time again because they're often like doing lots of new product launches. They got lots of new flavors coming out.
I got an email yesterday being like, hey, we need something ASAP and we need another shoot at the end of April. And it's like, it's right here. It's
and
right there.
What is ASAP? Give like 2 weeks,
like,
3 weeks?
Yeah, two.
So like they'll just hit us up and be like, hey, 3 weeks from now, we need something. Why do they keep coming back to us? Why do they value working with us? Well, it's because we are taking risk and showing them that we have a process for this. Therefore, they can lean into working with us, trust us, and therefore they're willing to spend more money. So think about it this way. If a client needs content, it's a super important content library they need for whatever, a product launch, to advertise with, to market with, to show investors, whatever it's going to be. If they need the turnaround time to be 2 weeks, do you think they're more likely to hire someone who's a little bit more expensive, but they've worked with before, or maybe they haven't worked with them? They've got a really proven track record of delivering on time. They've got good systems. They look like they know what they're doing, but they're more expensive. Or do you think they're going to take a risk on somebody who they've never worked with? It doesn't look like they're going to potentially get stuff delivered on time. They don't have a good reputation. They don't have good reviews. Obviously, they're going to opt to fund more budget and pay the person more money because risk is a massive factor on how people make decisions. This goes for the wedding industry as well. Very, very important. So the last part of value is risk. So when you put all four of these together, you got ROI, you got turnaround time, you got quality, and you got risk. All of those build into value-based pricing. Now, let me show you how this actually comes into play. I told you guys that we had a 6-figure month last year in 2025. This is the exact breakdown. This is our exact pricing, okay? So we did 4 photo and video campaigns in one single month. $12,000 each campaign. That month, we made $48,000 off of those 4 photo and video campaigns. We did a massive rebrand project. This was a big rebrand project for us, where we took a business, fintech business, and we fully rebranded it. We built them a new website, some new UI UX stuff, new name, everything. And it was a $50,996 project. We did a 3-pin post videos for Instagram. So this is a client that came to us and was like, hey, we're launching like some new messaging. And we were like, great, we can help you with your social funnel. We built out 3 videos for them that live on the top of their Instagram profile. We call that a pin post offer. Phenomenal offer. Rip it off, take it. It's a great offer. We sold that for $5,250. Okay. And then Christy ended the month after a crazy month. She ended it with an engagement shoot. It was a shoot, and it was like photo and video. So kind of a expensive and quite unique engagement shoot. It wasn't like a normal like $800 shoot. It was a $4,000 engagement shoot, which was awesome. 2 different cities, 2 different locations. Very bougie, very fun. And that gave us a $108,000 month. But this is why I'm telling you guys this. One, we love being transparent and showing you guys numbers. Throw me in the chat if you think this is cool to see a bunch of this stuff. BJ, did we outsource this? Answer your question real quick. We did not outsource any of this. This was all done in-house. Now, Christy and I have some people that work with us on our team to help get some of this stuff out. So like help with some video editing, some of the design. We have a designer, but we shot and designed everything. So yeah. So
great question.
Here's why I'm showing you this though, okay? If we had charged $200 an hour, and a lot of you guys might even think that $200 an hour is a lot of money to charge per hour. If I would have charged $200 per hour for each and every single hour we worked that entire month, we would have only made $61,200. Charging for your time sucks. Charging for your value is where it's at. We literally would have lost $47,000 that month, but instead we didn't. So we focused on this and we had a $108,000 month. So I'm just urging you guys, really, really focus on charging for your value, not for your time. So here's what I want you guys to do. We put out a post recently that lots of you guys might have already seen. We got a ton of really good feedback on it. We broke down in detail our exact pricing model that we use in 2026, straight from Christy and I's businesses. We threw it on Instagram. So jump on over to Instagram and just DM us the words pricing model, and it will send you to this post. I want you to study this post after the workshop. Don't do it now because you're going to miss out on the other value we're about to give you. Study this post. I'll show you as we go through it. It talks about stuff. It breaks it down. Talk about finding your CTO plus your target income, annual revenue. We then talk about billable hours. We then talk about your floor price. We then talk about your minimum project price. And then we get into the value stuff. We start adding the value factors that I already just taught on right there and give you guys some percentages to actually do some math with. And this equates to actual project fees. You can see how this all works out. Okay, so this is an example. I want you to get that. Go comment pricing model on Instagram. You're going to get the full pricing strategy breakdown. And hopefully that's really helpful. Throw me in the chat if that was helpful. Throw value in the chat if you're going to make the switch to value-based pricing. That's what I want you to throw in the chat. Throw value into the chat.
You people out there,
I love it.
That's great.
I love it.
So
awesome.
Okay, well, we are going to jump into how to actually market your 6-figure offer. What I want you to do is type lead in the chat if you feel like 2026, you want to focus on getting more quality leads through the door. If you feel like you're struggling with maybe inquiries, or you're struggling with actually converting people like onlookers on Instagram to being actual clients, right? This is what we're going to be focusing on right now. So how to market. So 6-figure creative businesses don't rely on motivation for their marketing. Type me in the chat if at the beginning of 2026, you were like, I'm going to post on Instagram every single day, and you've already fallen off the bandwagon. Type me in the chat. You can be honest here. That's fine. We've all done it. I've been called out for that.
I fear I'm being called out.
I think I am also being called out for that. But this is the thing. 6-figure business owners don't focus on motivation to be the key driver for their marketing. They focus on systems. When your motivation falls through, your systems will work for you, which is why in 2026, you need to focus on building systems and systems for your lead generation for your business. So we're going to talk today about how to build a social funnel. There's a million ways you can develop and bring in new leads to your business that are high quality. One of our personal favorites is a social funnel, which is what we're going to talk about today. So a social funnel is a 4-step marketing plan that attracts ideal clients and sells them on a unique and clear offer. Okay, so this is what I'm going to talk to you about. I just ran this last week. So this is fresh content for you. This was last week. I ran a social funnel. So previous to this, I was probably posting on Instagram every, few days, or that's sometimes generous, like maybe once a week or something like that. And wasn't really driving a ton of leads because I wasn't really focusing and I hadn't built a social funnel in a hot second. So I was like, you know what? I want to start driving more leads to my couples sessions in Yosemite. I want to go back to Yosemite more this spring and summer. I want to book some weddings there. So what are we going to do about it? We're not going to hope that people are going to just arrive to my inbox and get that. I'm going to create a social funnel and drive attention towards it. So I launched a Yosemite session giveaway, which is a form of a social funnel. And I had that thing posted for 1 week. I ran a 1 week giveaway and the results were awesome. We got $50,000 worth of inquired leads through my inbox, actual inquiries.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. I got 186,000 views, and this was all organic. This was no boosting, no paid or anything. 6,000 comments, 70 personal DMs explaining each couple's story, which then actually gives me a lot of ammo for reselling them if they don't win the giveaway. And over 200 people requesting the insider offer I ended up running, which was a sale. So this is the results of this giveaway that I did last week, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
hey, real quick, I want to just talk about the question in the chat because this is a great question. So a social funnel does not have to be a giveaway, but we're going to talk about in a second why giveaways are great. But Amber, I just saw you in there. What's up, Amber? We love Amber. Amber's awesome. Amber, throw it in the chat. How many followers do you have, and how many comments and like engagement have you gotten from your social funnel? Because I saw Amber launch the social funnel using the same framework literally like 2 days ago, and it's been killing. So why a giveaway, Christy? Talk about why a giveaway is great.
Yeah,
and a giveaway, it has nothing to do with your follower count.
Yes, and we're going to talk about how social funnels, you don't have to give away anything to run a social funnel. You can do a ton of different options, but the reason I did a giveaway is that I wanted, first of all, free stuff tends to attract large masses of people, right?
Yes.
It obviously got 180,000 views on this. It attracted a lot of people, but it was also something that was going to create an environment where someone then all of a sudden everyone would really want something, right? Before I wasn't getting inquiries to Yosemite, and I was like, you know what? I want to drive more to that. So I ran this giveaway and it drove a ton of people to go, oh, I want that. And they started to visualize them getting to have that type of shoot. And then I offered a sale, which drove them to a sale, right? And to actually then book with me, which was huge. So this is just a type of a social funnel, but you do not have to have a large following to do this. This is actually a great way to grow your following. And honestly, the giveaway portion of being able to do one shoot for free, first of all, portfolio building, which is always great. You're never too big to do something for portfolio, but it also drove in, again, $50,000 plus in leads, and it's continuing to hit every single day. So this is so important, you guys. I want to talk about social funnels, but it doesn't have to be a giveaway.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you this as an option.
And heck yeah, Amber. Amber has 2,600 followers. She has over 1,000 comments, 100 new follows, and 15,000 views. And she's going to get a ton of inquiries from that, which is awesome.
And all organic, which is so sick.
All organic.
So we're going to talk about how to actually build a social funnel. So what does this actually look like? So in order to build a social funnel, again, mine was a giveaway, but you don't have to do a giveaway. It could be a PDF guide. It could be, a free consult to somebody. It could be anything. But what you want to do is number one, want to define the offer you will sell. So you got to, first of all, decide what you want to sell. Don't pick anything like, oh, just hire me for photography. Or
that's got to be the worst thing you can do. And I'm going to call you out right now, calling myself out. I've done this too in the past. If your socials, every time you post, it's just like, hey, DM me if you want to book me, but you never actually define an offer.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Crickets. So this is how this is going to help you get around that, okay? Very important. Step number one of a good social funnel is you have to define the offer.
Yeah, so define the offer. So what I did, I defined the offer, and what you need to do to define the offer is these things on the left-hand side here. Take a picture of this. You got to decide who is your ideal client. You got to call them out. So on the right-hand side, I said, hey, couples sessions for people in Yosemite, right? That's so specific. You're going to say ideal outcomes. I said for the couple who wants the full experience, mood board creation, multiple locations, and a library of images you'll keep forever. My method and my process, you're going to get a 2-hour shoot, and you're going to have 100 images plus, and this, and vision board creation, blah, blah, blah. I also have timelines, 7-day delivery time, right? That's so quick, something that they can really attach onto value-wise. I also have why they need to book now. At the bottom, I say, hey, limited time only, must be booked by March 1st. And I also give the price, okay? So you got to define your offer. That is the very first thing before you actually employ your social funnel. You got to define the offer of what you will sell. Secondly, you need to create attention around your offer, okay? So once you've decided what it is, whether it's, I want to do something around a fall campaign or product photo or a launch thing, or maybe it's like me, it's a Yosemite session or somewhere cool that you want to shoot more in, you got your offer. Now, you don't just do an announcement post and go crickets, okay? You don't just do an announcement post and then never talk about it again, especially if it's not a giveaway, right? You want to actually continue to get loud or you're going to get overlooked. Okay, so you're going to have a variety of content. So you can do testimonials, you can do case studies, you can have educational posts, objection handling, talk about why the value is so there and why it is so worth it to spend the money, right? And then you can also run paid ads. You can boost, you can run paid ads, you can do all of that, which honestly I do all the time, but I had a song on here that I didn't know that I couldn't boost at the time. And so I didn't get to run anything, but I didn't need it, which was awesome. And you may go, I actually don't need it. But what I want you to do is get loud. So continue building content around your social funnel and talk about it consistently. Don't just do one day and never talk about it again. Do it on your stories, do it consistently.
Example, every time you post on socials, the bottom of your caption should say, hey, if you want and break down your offer, DM me this or hit me up, hit on my website, right? Like everywhere you talk on socials, your socials is meant to drive traffic to your business. Talk about your offer, right? Yeah. Create a ton of attention about it. It's not a one-time thing.
Exactly. And be upfront about your offer, you guys. Yeah. Don't just post, beautiful portfolio and it's just very vague on what you offer. You're going to look like an artist. You want to look like a problem solver. So create attention about your offer and you will see people start to really generate around that. So the third one is we're going to generate leads with a low commitment call to action. This is my favorite part of a social funnel. Too many people post an incredible offer, right? They've got an awesome offer and it's killer. People want to do it. This is great. But the call to action is really vague. Book me. Okay, where? What do I do that? How do I do that?
For what?
Or reach out, right? It's so vague. It takes people a long time to get to your link in bio. What if it's broken? What if they don't understand? You have to get too many times and you lose the sale before it ever even started because you had a bad CTA. Or it instantly book a call, right? That's too much commitment.
It's a lot of pressure for somebody that doesn't really know you.
You want to have something that's a good low commitment call to action. Something as simple as, hey, just DM me, send the guide, or DM me guide, or DM me interested, or comment interested, or Yosemite, or whatever, or just have a ManyChat button going where people can literally press a button and get something on automation. So decide what your low commitment call to action is in order for them to get the next step and make it low commitment.
So break that down. What was yours? So on your post, you can see if you go to the last slide, at the bottom of this post, right here, it talks about how if you commented on it and you tagged people, it was going to DM them something.
You can see it right here. If anyone sent a message saying Valentine or Valentine's, and we use ManyChat, by the way, if you're wondering, as a tool.
That's a great reason.
That's a good.
If you're serious about your business, you should definitely use it.
So great. It was basically, hey, comment Valentine if you want this. And it was just like, boom, bunch of Valentines, all of that. It's ManyChat, not ManyChat.
Yeah, M-A-N-Y, ManyChat. Yep.
And so that's what I did for the low commitment call to action. And then it was, an instant, easy call to action even after that. So you just want to make things so simple for people to be able to take action with you and take it quickly. And then last, but certainly not least, you want to sell the offer. Okay. You want to sell the offer. So don't make it weird. Don't make it pushy and don't make it vague. You want to be specific, but you want to be all about them, right? You don't make it too much about yourself. Here's all of what I do and I'm amazing and why everyone books me. You don't talk about yourself. You talk about them and you talk about what's in it for them and why they shouldn't wait to respond. Okay. So here we have a sales script of here that you can just screenshot right now.
Take a photo, pull out your phone, take a photo of this.
And this is a simple sales script that you can send to people who are interested with you that gets the conversation going, right? That's what we're first doing. We're not asking them to sign on the dotted line. We're just starting a conversation. So start with heart, lead with warmth and genuine excitement to create instant connection. Then you go into a hook, affirm that they're in the right place and highlight why you're so glad they reached out. 3, align. Bridge their curiosity with what makes it the right fit. So why did they reach out to you and why is it the right fit? Number 4, you have an offer tease. Hint at more info or next steps without overwhelming or overselling, okay? This is the most important. Have just a quick little, hey, this is what it is, and here's what you need to do next. 5th, hype, paint the emotional payoff of working with you. And 6th, ask a leading question. Invite them to continue the conversation with you. That's low pressure and low risk in order to get them towards the offer. So you can see my message right here. It was super simple, super easy, and they were able to jump into my guide to actually then go and officially inquire, which is awesome. So,
and that's how Christy last week got $50,000 worth of inquiries, split between weddings and some couple shoots, which is incredible. So
which is awesome.
Social funnels, guys, are so important. So this is a recap.
This is a recap. Define your offer, create attention around your offer, generate leads with a low commitment call to action, and sell the offer rather than just randomly posting on social media whenever you feel like it. If you are running a social funnel, you can set something up like this. Here's some other options too. If you're like, hey, how does this work for maybe the brand space or the social media space? Here's a couple ideas if you want to screenshot this. So like a simple brand funnel. It could be, hey, we are giving away a playbook. Let's go like, hey, for 2026 playbook for real estate agents. And you can do Instagram
like,
ad.
Here's these 6 pieces of content every brand needs in order to launch products in 2026. So if you're a outdoor brand photographer, outdoor filmmaker, right? That could be a great resource you build and you have on your socials at all times living there, and people can DM you growth and you send them the growth playbook, right? It could be a Canva deck. It could be a PDF. It could be something on your website, right?
So easy.
And they just opt in for it. They DM you that. So you make stories, you make reels, you make carousels, maybe even want to try running paid ads. And it all drives traffic to get people to DM you that DMs you that. And then you get this automated response. Hey, here's the playbook.
Yeah, set up a simple like $3 a day ad. You could run this thing and not even post on your Instagram and it will generate leads for you.
Hey, Owen, just real quick, we'll see if he's rocking the chat right now because he's one of our guest experts. Owen is currently running paid ads. Actually, John Williams right there. Shout out, John. John, how much are you spending on ads right now per day? And how much money has it brought you in terms of inquiries in the last month through your social funnel?
Let's hear it, John.
Let's hear it. See if you can come up with the math quick. But John's killing it right now with this social funnel. Well, he does that. We'll move on to the second one. The second one's a social media audit. So your social media manager, this is for you.
Absolutely. If you're like, man, I just want to get more sales calls on the books. What if you offer free audits, which is essentially a sales call?
It's amazing. Yeah.
And it makes it and turns it around and gives someone value. And then you can run an Instagram ad saying, hey, I'm giving away 10 free Instagram audits this month. DM me audit to apply. Right? And then boom, you just got a bunch of people in your DMs wanting to book with you. Then you have a destination wedding funnel, let's say, for a wedding photographer. Let's say you're like, hey, send me on the first plane to Santorini. I want to go to Greece and book more weddings, but I'm not currently getting any weddings in Greece and I want to change that, right? You can say, and this is a little hint to who's going to be our first guest expert, but this is, hey, DM me Santorini to get my free guide to elope in Santorini. The automated DM response hits off. Here's the guide. And then it goes straight to a landing page of name and the email to get the guide. And then boom, you are on your way to Greece, which is what our next guest expert's going to be talking about.
Yeah. But hey, shout out to John Williams in the chat. John is doing $15 per day ads, $450 a month, and he got a 27x return, 27x return on his ad spend from his social funnel, guys. So this is the solution. As Christy said earlier, this is the solution to having to post every day, hoping you remember, hoping you feel motivated. Set up a funnel, make a ton of content about it. And if you want, even automate it using paid content. This is how, if you're in the wedding space, you can grow and get a ton of inquiries. This is how, if you're in the social media management space or the content creator space, UGC space, you can get a ton of inquiries. If you're in the brand space like me, photo, video, brand strategy, you can get a ton of inquiries from this. So quickly take a screenshot of this, pull out your phone, take a photo of this. And Jonathan, I'm glad this is helpful. This is absolutely something that helps in the wedding photography niche for sure. So
cool. So what social funnel do you want to build and launch in the next few weeks? Again, we don't want to do information obesity where you guys just learn a bunch of cool stuff, but you don't actually implement it. So I want you to write down or drop it in the chat. What is a social funnel you want to build and launch to help bring in new leads for your business? And that is social funnels.
That's social funnels. So guys, here's the question. Who is ready to learn from some guest experts? These are going to be like bite-sized little TED Talks that are going to just absolutely hype you up with some really, really good strategies that each of the three of them, who are amazing people, amazing business owners, they are all using, which is incredible. So we are going to quit our screen share. Rebekah, we are going to pull you up as a panelist here.
I'll bring
As we're doing that, just got to pull you up. We're going to search for you, pull you up as a panelist. Guys, throw it in the chat. Throw let's go in the chat if you are stoked to hear from Rebekah Soto. She is so awesome. Rebekah,
an invite, Rebekah.
As you are getting pulled on up, there she is.
You guys, Rebekah is unbelievable. I will toot her horn for her. She is an incredible destination wedding photographer. What's up, Rebekah?
Hello.
Drop so much knowledge on you, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, Rebekah, feel free to pull up your slide deck that you're going to be teaching through. So we have known Rebekah for what, like 4 or 5 years now. She's awesome. Yeah. Rebekah's actually local to us, which is awesome. So shout out California. But Rebekah, we've seen Rebekah go from someone who is shooting like local weddings, who is newer in her career, to exploding to these international weddings,
literally
very, very high ticket weddings, doing incredible stuff. And how she's done it is the best part. We've watched Rebekah lay the pieces to a brilliant system that she's going to be breaking down today and really giving you some insight into her career. And so, Rebekah, we're super proud of you. Thank you for being here. We're so glad you're here. Hype Rebekah up in the chat as she is going through this. And remember, if you have questions, guys, throw them in the Q&A panel. We're going to be getting to them later in this call. So, Rebekah, it is all you. Take it away.
Hey, thank you, guys. I can't really see the chat, so well, I don't really know. So we'll see what happens, but I'm so excited to be here. So stoked to share a little bit more about my story. And the first thing I want to start off with is I have a question for everyone listening and watching. Do you feel like you're stuck working jobs you don't want? Type me in the chat if that's you right now, if that's been you in the past. I feel like as business owners, there's no getting around this. We've all been there. We've all done it. I definitely have. When I first started my business, I feel like that was the story of my life. One of the biggest reasons why I started my business was one, like financial freedom and having like freedom of time. But the third most important thing to me was to be able to get paid to travel. I saw so many people like on social media be able to get all these opportunities. And I'm like, that sounds like the dream life. That's what I want. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a wedding photographer. And then year 1 in, I'm like booking about 1 million weddings a year and charging absolutely nothing for those. So yeah, if that is you, if that has been you, let me know in the chat. You're not alone. On this call, I'm going to be chatting through how I went from booking 30 plus low budget burnout weddings a year to booking $18,000 international weddings by repositioning my brand. Because I implemented what I'm about to teach you, I went from 3K to 5K weddings to now booking 10 to 20K weddings, which is insane. Like, the wedding industry is not dead. I feel like there's so much opportunity in all of these creative industries, but if you're a wedding photographer, videographer, content creator, there is so much money in weddings. So I just want to encourage you in that. But I will also teach you, because I implemented what I'm about to teach you, I shot 5 international weddings last year, which was literally a dream come true. That was one of my biggest dreams. And it was like even better than I could have even imagined. It was truly like the year of my life. It was amazing. I booked my first $18,000 wedding and have fallen more in love with shooting now than ever before. And I feel really, really aligned with my clients. But I didn't always used to think this way. I didn't always used to feel this way. This wasn't my reality forever. I used to think the only way to eventually shoot the weddings I wanted was to, one, wait until someone randomly inquired for a destination wedding, build my portfolio of local weddings, and just hope it translates to my dream bride or client. This last one I feel like resonates deeply with me. Prove myself for years before I could be worthy of charging more. I truly thought when I first started my business that I basically every year I'm just going to charge like $300 more, and then in 10 to 12 years, I'll be living a good life. And let me know if that has been you in the chat. I feel like we all went through that, and that's not reality. You don't have to do it that way. Looking back, I realized the problem wasn't my effort. Something about me is I am the type of person that's like, I'm gonna make something happen if I want it to happen. I am like I'm all or nothing, go-getter, huge dreamer. And I feel like at a point in my business, I was like, I'm working so hard. Why isn't this working? And I realized it wasn't my effort, it was my positioning. I was attracting local weddings instead of destination couples, price sensitive inquiries, that one, high volume bookings, and low budget clients. My brand didn't reflect the photographer I was dreaming of becoming. And so I could see like this is me and this is where I wanted to be. And I saw the gap. I just didn't know what would fill that gap. And everything shifted when I stopped waiting to be chosen and I started positioning myself to be the destination wedding photographer I wanted to be. Also, I can't really see the chat, but I will come back, and if anyone is like asking questions or whatever, we'll chat later. So yeah, I think just go ahead and share my screen. So anyway, I just didn't want someone to say something and I like can't see it. So just heads up. Yeah, I started positioning myself as the destination wedding photographer I wanted to be. So here's the 3 steps I took to change my positioning. And this is kind of talking a little bit about what Christy just was talking about with like the social funnels. I got super inspired by that, Christy, so I'm so excited to be sharing a little bit more about my journey. So step 1, I created the work I wanted to be hired for. So this was before I got international weddings. This was before I was able to shoot internationally and destination stuff. So I took it upon myself. I flew to Santorini on my own dime and shot content. And yeah, it was amazing. It was a time, but you have to shoot what you want to be paid for. I feel like that's super important. In this, you may be hearing this and you're like, okay, like I've heard this before, people have done this isn't revolutionary. And I agree with you. To go and shoot like internationally to try to get into the international space isn't revolutionary, but I feel like these next steps are. So step 2, I built a guide for eloping in Santorini using that content. So I took the content that I shot in Santorini, gorgeous, and I made the ultimate guide to eloping in Santorini. This was a very valuable resource for my couples. It was like 30 pages, like PDF, and it literally has everything you need to know. Where to elope, like the actual locations in Santorini, where you should stay, because there's a few different towns that offer different vibes and what they're looking for. Things to do during your wedding week. I thought of a lot of creative ideas of like, you should tour, you should go on a boat tour, you should do this, you should do that. And so I created this huge guide. It was a great resource for my clients. And then step 3, I built a social funnel to market that guide to potential clients. So I created a simple funnel. I'll kind of chat through it briefly, but yeah, I shot the content, got the guide, made the guide, and now I like was marketing it to try to reach more people that want to do elope in Santorini, get married in Santorini, just put me in the international space. So yeah, I marketed the guide on social media with reels and posts, and on Pinterest a ton. I got a lot of leads on Pinterest and TikTok. And I created a opt-in form. So like on a website, someone would put down their name, their email, and then they'd be sent the guide, as well as for nurturing emails to kind of just let them into my world. It gave them more value. I gave them even more value than just the guide. I gave them some other things that I was working on. Yeah, it was like a mood boarding guide to get you really inspired for, your wedding. And then the last email was an email pitching the clients like, hey, you want photos like, you want to have the most beautiful wedding ever. You want the most beautiful photos ever. I'm your girl, like hire me to shoot your wedding practically. So that's pretty much step 1, step 2, step 3. And I ended up booking my first international wedding ever in Santorini. And I got so many other inquiries. It was absolutely insane how it's like, whoa, this just like worked, you know? So that's really how I got into the international space, the destination space that I like had always dreamed of tapping into. But on a deeper level, this social funnel shifted my brand positioning. So just like for reference, this is what my like social media looked like pre-Santorini. This is like while I was launching a guide. I feel like there's a shift in like this isn't giving destination photographer, this is giving destination photographer. And now I've shot multiple weddings internationally, and this is kind of what my brand looks like now. I was no longer the local wedding photographer brand. I booked 5 more destination weddings that next year, and that was last year that I was able to shoot all those. Because I shifted my brand positioning, I went from booking 3 to 5K weddings to now 10 to 20K weddings. I was able to pay for my mom to come with me to Italy for a wedding, which was one of the best things I feel like I've ever done. It was genuinely like a trip of a lifetime. My mom has a lot of health issues, and I never thought I'd be able to like go on a trip like that with her. She hasn't ever traveled or anything, so it was truly like indescribable. It was amazing. And then my weddings now get featured in publications all over the world, and my clients feel so aligned. Your big takeaway is your effort isn't the problem, your brand positioning is. If you want different clients, build a different brand.
Love
So
it.
good.
So good, Rebekah.
Taylor through the chat. So good. Rebekah, that was awesome, guys. Here's what I want you to do. Throw in the chat, what is your takeaway from Rebekah's story there? What is the thing about what she just talked about that just stuck out? Rebekah, now you can open up the chat. Now you can see it. You can see everybody hyping you up.
Amazing.
Brand positioning is key. 100%.
I love it. That's awesome. Rebekah, that was so inspiring. Thank you.
So inspiring, Rebekah. Well, hey, from just Christy and I, we want to publicly say this in front of everybody. 1, thanks for being here and hanging out. 2, we're so proud of you. Like, so cool to see how you built that social funnel. And you've really gone from the local wedding girl shooting a ton of weddings, feeling like you're burning yourself out. Now you're shooting the most beautiful weddings. Every time Christy and I see you shooting a wedding now, we're like, oh my gosh, she's like at some villa in Italy. This is incredible. So we're so proud of you.
You're like, hey, create the life and business you want, and you've done that, and you showed that it's possible for everybody else. So thank you so much for being here, Rebekah.
Yes, Rebekah.
Rebekah's gonna be sticking around for some questions as well.
Yeah, we're gonna promote Owen up to the panelist section here. Rebekah, we're gonna drop you back down. So good to see you. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Owen, good to see you, brother. What's going on? We got you.
Hey.
How we doing?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. Hey, chat, throw it in the chat. Are you guys ready to hear from Owen? Owen, I'm going to intro you, bro, as you pull up your deck here. But guys, Owen is a legend. Owen, you're from Missoula, Montana. If you guys can't tell by looking at him, he looks very Montana today. He's got a nice beard, some good flannel on. And Owen is in the brand space. So he is a photographer and filmmaker in the brand space. He runs a content agency called Native Release. And we have gotten to watch Owen really transform from a business that was healthy. When we met Owen, your business was actually healthy. It was larger than a lot of people's businesses on this call might be, but you really wanted more. You wanted more stability, going from a lot of one-off projects to more retainers. And in the last couple of years, we've watched Owen make some awesome changes to his business. And he's going to be breaking down one of the biggest shifts that he has made in his business. So you got some Missoula fans in the chat, Owen. Ready when you are. Take it away, my man.
Let's go. I love it. Well, cool, guys. I'm super pumped to be here. Just before I jump in, I want to say I did this workshop a few years ago, and like it literally changed my life. So I'm just stoked to be here and hopefully do the same for some of you guys. So let's jump right in. So who here feels like pitching via email and DM just doesn't work for you? You've tried everything. You're sending like a gazillion emails out. You're not even sure if your emails are sending. That's how dead your inbox is. If this is you, drop me in the chat. This is where I was. It's brutal, but the good news is it does not have to be like that. So today I'm going to cover the do's and don'ts of pitching as a creative. Now, before I jump into it, a couple of the results that I experienced from making these changes. 1, I went from a 1 to 40 response rate to a 3 out of 10 response rate, which is an 1,100% increase, which is just crazy to say out loud. Second, it went from $4,000 a month in recurring revenue to $25,000 a month in recurring revenue. And now I spend way less time pitching, but I get much better results. Now, I used to wonder why no one would respond to my pitches. Again, would send a gazillion emails out, hear nothing, and I was starting to get super frustrated. I was spending hours every week finding contacts to email and DM, which I'm sure you guys know is incredibly time consuming, building out different pitch decks and sending out mass email pitches. On average, I was probably sending, honestly, probably a little more than 250 cold emails a month, and I was still getting ghosted. And I was getting pretty darn tired of it. So I decided enough was enough, and I needed a new strategy. So I joined the Creative Rise 6-week mastermind, and it taught me that my pitches were all about me, right? Who I was, what I could do, what I've shot before, everything to do with Owen and nothing to do with the brand and how I could actually help them. And here's why that doesn't work. Creative Rise taught me that brands want to work with a creative that understands their problem and has a solution to help. My pitches were missing the problem that I solve and the actual opportunity to fix it. So I'm just going to be brutally honest. This email sucks. This is a great example of what not to do. So I'll kind of read through it here. We've got, hey, Sarah, I hope you've had a great week and all is well. My name is Owen Rossi, and I run a creative media agency called Native Release based out of Missoula. I wanted to reach out as I think Native Release would be an excellent fit to take on some of Luno's creative needs this year. We started booking clients for 2024, and we only have a few spots remaining for the quarter. Below, I've attached links to our Instagram website and media kit for review. Happy to jump on a call here to chat through some options, and thanks in advance for your time. So just very little substance to that email. If I'm a marketing manager, I'm just putting that to the side. So great example of what not to do. Here's my new pitching checklist. Guys, I'll leave this up. Take a screenshot. This is super helpful. I do this now and I get much better results. So the first step is I'll do a quick 60-second audit of the brand's content and I'll isolate what they're doing well. So what that looks like, I'll jump on their Instagram, scroll for a minute or two and just highlight a few areas that they're crushing in. 2, I'll isolate what they're not doing well and why it's costing them success. 3, I'll clearly explain how I can help them navigate the problem that they're dealing with. 4, you want to make sure you keep your pitches short. Brands are super busy and they get a bajillion emails from creators and they don't have time to read your whole life story. And then 5, this is a huge one. Always add a PS line. So like I said, these marketing managers get tons of emails. A lot of what they do is an email comes in, they'll just kind of scan it and nothing really jumps off the page. They'll put it to the side. That PS line is a really good second hook, I like to say, right? They'll kind of scan your email. If the PS line is interesting, there's a good chance they go to the top of the email and actually take the time to read it. So definitely throw a PS line in there. Even if it's something silly, hey, I think I've done this in the past. The marketing manager and I are from the same town. Even something hey, I saw you're from Maryland, super cool. I love this restaurant. Just something anything like that. And then a bonus, 80% of my landed pitches come from follow-ups. Do it. So I don't think it's ever happened where I'll send an email and right off the bat, the brand's sweet, let's do it. It's always a follow-up. And I want to touch on this a little bit because people feel kind of weird following up. They don't want to, annoy the brand. You're trying to let the brand know about an opportunity to make them money. So you don't have to feel weird about it. And honestly, I'll get pretty, I'll do 10 plus follow-ups. And usually it's the 11th or the 12th where they're oh my gosh, I'm just now seeing this. This is great. So definitely do those. Here is a screenshot of one of my new pitches. Feel free to copy this down or take a screenshot. This says, hi team, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I was recently scrolling through the Luno social feed and I love all the beautiful different landscapes you featured your products in, especially the one showcasing the Northern Lights. Keep up the awesome work. I did notice that the Luno social feed is a little light on short form video content that features one of the brand's key pillars, community. While your current video content looks awesome, the majority of your reels feature only one person, which can drastically decrease your reach and hinder your future sales. I have a few ideas for short form video content that emphasize community that would really help connect Luno with new audiences while driving sales that I'd love to share. For example, a lifestyle reel like the one we did here for Go Macro would be an awesome way to connect with new consumers by using models who look and have the same interests as them. Additionally, a UGC style buyer's journey reel like the one we did here from Eddie Bauer would also be a great way to communicate that when people buy from Luno, they're buying an experience, not just a product. We recently helped Go Macro reach over 893,000 people with one of our Reels campaigns, and we'd love to do the same for Luno. Click here to grab 15 minutes on my calendar, and I'm really looking forward to sharing more of my ideas with you soon. P.S. I was recently chatting with Gabriella on LinkedIn about the new mattress you just launched. What better time to chat about ways to drive sales with engaging Reels content? Let's jump on that call. It'll be a great 15 minutes. Best Owen Rossi, and then links to some of our social channels and website. So I'm going to go to this next slide. I'll leave this up. Take a screenshot, guys. This is kind of a breakdown of why that email is better and different than the first one. So The first step is have a personalized intro, right? I kind of talk about like, I love the brand. I love your content, especially, the one with the Northern Lights. Immediately showing like, I know the brand, I did my research, and I'm a real person. I'm not AI. That's huge today. I did notice that Luna is a little light on short form video content. So we go into the problems and the stakes, and we talk about like, what it's costing them. Then we go into the solution and the benefit. I share a few ideas of videos that we did for our clients that would be a good fit for them. Then we roll into a case study. We help go macro, reach over 893K people. Then a call to action, give them a link to my calendar so they can book, and then a quick PS slide. Definitely screenshot this. This has been like the most helpful thing. Now again, guys, because I implemented these changes in my pitching, I went from a 1 to 40 response rate to a 3 out of 10 response rate. I went from 4K a month to 25K a month, and now I spend way less time pitching, but get much better results. So guys, your big takeaway from this is that your pitch is only as good as your ability to point out a problem in an area of opportunity and explain how you can solve it. So I hope that was helpful, and get after it. Send some pitches.
Let's go, man.
All right, you guys, you know the drill. Throw in the chat. What was a takeaway from Owen? Owen, that was awesome and so just direct and clear. And I think people probably just like filled up their desktop with all the screenshots. So that was awesome, Owen. Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, so good. Owen, you and I, we geek out on pitching, right? And guys, my biggest takeaway that I'm reminded of that I want you guys to make sure you take away from Owen is follow up.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow up. I agree. Christy and I, so I've been pitching brands for 13, 14 years now. We pitched a brand last year. I think this was the first time in my 13, 14 year career where we sent an email. They responded like an hour later. Christy and I were literally on a flight, and I looked at Christy, I'm like, this has never happened in my life where someone just responds after the first email. Like normally you got to just follow up and follow up and follow up. So yeah, that's such good advice, man. Everyone's saying thank you, Owen. Well, Owen, we got some great questions in the chat too. If you guys have any questions for us or Owen about pitching, throw them in the Q&A panel. We're going to be going through Q&A here in a bit, which is going to be great. So Owen, thanks, my man. We're going to bring up Taylor. Owen, we're going to drop you back down. Taylor Caruso, hey, throw it in the chat. Where are all the social media managers, content creators at? Throw a me in the chat. Here's the other thing. If you're not a social media manager, but you know there's a ton of opportunity, throw me in the chat. Taylor, what's up? So good to see you.
Good to see you, Taylor. Oh, we got a bunch of
we got you muted, Taylor. 1 second. Unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? There you go. We got you.
What's up, Taylor?
We got you.
Hey, everybody, let's retry it again. I was like, my camera's on. I was like not used to my pink background. It changed on me. So I was like, whoa, I'm really brightened out here today. So if anybody else is a pink lover, shout it out in the chat.
Shout it out. Shout it out.
We're all right here.
Yeah, I am so stoked to be here. It's so exciting. I literally have been like scribbling furiously, just taking notes, and my desktop is also full of so many screenshots from the amazing people. So
I love it
to be here. I've also just learned so much from Joey and Christy. So it's so much free knowledge that they give on these workshops. It's incredible. So proud of all of you for showing up and taking the time to get all this free knowledge for your creative businesses. But I'm Taylor. I'm a content creator and social media manager, wedding content creator, also based in Northern California. So excited to kind of talk about how Creative Rise has really helped me figure out my pricing, packaging, and I think you'll be impressed and surprised at kind of where I started and where I am now. So super stoked. I have a question for everybody. If you feel like you're over delivering and you're getting underpaid, comment me in the chat. This is a really common feeling, I think, amongst all creative business owners, but especially social media management owners. When you're first starting out, it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, like this is my first job. Like I'm just going to do something for like $300, like just whatever, and do everything under the sun. And then you're like, get to the point where you're feeling like you're getting over delivering and getting underpaid. So we don't want you to feel that way. So today I'm covering how I went from $800 a month retainers to $3,000 a month retainers by changing who I was building my offers for as a social media manager. So if you want to get from the $300, $800 a month mark to $3,000 a month mark, type me in the chat. Hopefully what I'm going to teach you today is going to help you kind of develop those offers. So because I implemented what I'm about to teach you, I am now delivering less, but making more. This has been huge for me. It's been, it's reconnected me to really like being passionate about what I'm doing. It was so easy for me to get burnt out by offering too much and not getting enough for it. And now I just love what I'm doing more. I raised my retainer prices from the $800 mark to $3,000 a month mark, which is a 275% increase. And that's kind of crazy to see that percentage on paper. Number 2, clients stick around with me for 12 months or longer. So that is a guaranteed sustainable income and predictable growth. I'm all about building personal, long-lasting relationships. And I've had my business for about 2 years now. And a handful of my clients have been with me since the beginning. So that is something I really value. And I now currently have, like Joey mentioned earlier, about 3.5 to 4K recurring revenue with retainer clients, which I'm all about guaranteed income. And it's pretty crazy to say that I was making $300 a month to $800 a month, and I'm now at that 4K a month mark. So if anybody is like, that's me, type me in the chat, type 4K, 20K, 100K, whatever you want to be at, we want to get you there. So I used to think that the only way to grow my business was to build offers packed with high quantities of deliverables to justify my prices, reach out to literally anyone who looked like they needed social media help, and then keep my retainers so cheap that clients would pay me every month, theoretically. But looking back, I realized I was pitching to the wrong clients. I was attracting / pitching to solopreneurs and small businesses with $300 to $800 budgets. Clients who wanted everything, but they didn't value strategy or really understand what I was doing and how I was helping them. And work that literally drained me, and it wasn't sustainable, and it was draining my fire, draining my passion. So if you're feeling like, yes, like I am not getting paid enough, I'm doing all this work, like why am I so stressed and like not feeling good about this creative business I'm so passionate about, type me in the chat, because I was there, totally normal feeling, and I can tell you that there is grass that is greener on the other side. So I was burning out and working too hard for too little. The Creative Rise Mastermind helped me shape my offers to be positioned at the right clientele so I could earn more for the hard work I was putting in. And guys, like seriously, I'm not getting paid to say this. Like they really did. Like I would not be here without Creative Rise. Like the structure they offer is truly incredible, and they really did help me do this. So Joey brought this up earlier, and this graph is really great. He kind of dove into that, broke it all down, but I started focusing on businesses with higher ticket products and services or higher volume of sales. And this is truly where the bigger budgets are. And because there's more of an attainable ROI for the client off of my services, it makes more sense for them to work with me. They stick around longer. And as you can see over there on the graph, like less clients, higher money. I think everybody would be wanting that. So feel free to take a picture of this, screenshot, whatever. This is just a very basic structure of one of my old offers and then one of my current new offers for social media management. So my old offer was 2 to 3 shoot days a month, 5 to 6 posts a week, 2 platforms, 2 monthly check-in calls, and not systemized. And then I was also targeting cheaper industries with lower margins, local businesses that are great and they do need it, but they might not be the right fit based on what their services are. And that was at that $800 a month pricing, which is crazy, versus my new offer. As you can kind of see, there's like less deliverables, but there's actually more value. There's more strategy involved in offering analytic reports. And with less content shoots per month, we're actually helping them by saving them time because we are being way more focused on what we're capturing when we're there, and really strategizing what we're going to build for that month. So it's actually a lot easier to target people in these higher industries like medical, health and wellness, luxury, travel, accommodation, all that, and they make sense with the ROI. They see that price and they get it. So an ideal client rule of thumb is if a business can't tie a few new clients to significant revenue, they're not an ideal social media management fit. They can barely afford you. They won't see the value. So these are the industries that you feel like you're targeting. Comment me. We're literally about to get into the right industries that you should be targeting to get your packages and your pricing to make sense and get you those right clients. So high value clients tend to value strategy over volume, value long-term partnerships and access to you rather than one-off relationships. I think this is really key. I think anybody who operates in a high production environment or just like a high environment really value the long-term working partners. They don't want to be cycling through people constantly. Value full service packages where I handle everything, and rather than piecing everything together with multiple service providers. So this is an example of one of my clients. They are a luxury, which I think is a key word, a luxury short-term rental Airbnb. They own 16 acres with 3 unique income-producing properties. They fully run and operate all aspects of the business, so they really needed someone to help come and take that off their plate. And an average cost for a single night at each one of their builds is $550 a night. So ROI, like they're with my $3,000 a month package. If I get them 5 leads who book at their place from social media, I'm paid for. So that's really not that hard, especially with them because they have 3 really unique properties. So it's really easy for me to get them booked up months at a time, which is way above what I'm charging them. And it makes so much sense. So their goal is to grow to 100K by May and get a fully booked 2026 calendar. We're so close to that 100K mark, which is really exciting to see. But we just had tremendous success with them in so many ways. And so they see the value. We're having a long-term partnership and it makes sense for them financially. Second client is a custom closet company in the Sacramento area. I just started with this client and it's been so amazing. I've just loved working with them, but they have a beautiful product and they have no idea how to market it, nor do they have the time. They fully trust me in my process, and an average project for them costs about $25,000. So if I'm getting them a lead for $25,000 closet, $1,000 of that is really nothing. So their goal is to book high-end projects and increase visibility. So this clientship helped me go from burned out at 30K a year to growing with comfort at 6 figures a year. So if you are like, wow, that's incredible, like comment client, because we're going to find you the right clients. Like I was talking about, they are going to fill your calendar with all the right people. So hopefully your big takeaway today was that if you want to move out of the burnt out and into the 6-figure business, you must pitch to businesses where the ROI makes sense, high ticket or high volume industries that can see clear ROI. Choose clients who value strategy, not just content. It's so key that they understand your worth and your value because you could be doing the best work, but if the client is just like not getting it, they're not going to see your value. And then target industries like we talked about that have consistent business. They think long-term, like real estate, med spa law firms, multi-location brands, and those luxury Airbnbs, like those are huge. That's it.
That's
So
amazing, Taylor.
good. I'm loving all the client comments in the chat.
Yes.
Guys, Taylor is the queen, one of brand. You guys saw, she's got all her brand photos. She's dialed in. She loves the pink, and her business model is so good. So Taylor rocks. People are saying in the chat, Taylor, that was so good.
That was
I love it.
Taylor. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was so screenshotable. So thank you.
Hey, guys, throw it in the chat. What's your biggest takeaway from what Taylor just talked about? Throw it in the chat. Let us see it. Let us see it.
Awesome.
So good. And Taylor, some people were asking if you also shoot the content that you also manage with. And the answer to that is yes, correct?
Yeah. Full service agency. Everything that we do is me or my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Which is why it's pretty comfortable to charge $4,000 a month to each client. You know, you get 4 clients at $4,000 a month and you're loving it, right? Which is really awesome.
Seriously.
How many of you guys, here's a question, throw it in the chat, throw me in the chat. How many of you guys want to only work with like 4 clients for a whole year? How good does that sound?
Yeah.
Versus having to work with like 10 new clients every month, right?
Absolutely.
In a non-recurring business model. So Taylor, your business is such a good example of that. I love it. Hey, what type of Spindrift are you drinking? What's the flavor tonight?
Oh, cranberry raspberry. I'm a Spindrift girl. I know I do love me some LaCroix, but Spindrift has my heart. So
we'll accept it.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Taylor, so much for being here.
Taylor, that's so good.
She's going to hang around to hang out for some Q&A.
Yeah.
So
if you got some questions, reminder, throw them in the Q&A panel. Don't just throw them in the chat. Throw them in the Q&A panel. That's where we're going to get to most of the questions.
Quick reminder, we are going to be giving away the Peak Design tripod at the end of this shortly here. So again, this is like $400 value. We're going to be sending you a brand new one, not our beat up one. We're going to be sending you a brand new one for you. So we are going to be doing a giveaway, but you got to be here live. So
and we're going to rock into some Q&A in a bit here. So stay dialed in.
Yes.
That's my desktop. That's not the right one. I got to share the right thing here. All right, back on over to this. So we have just broken down 7 different things. The 4 stages of business growth, building 6-figure offers, pricing strategy, building a social funnel. Who loved the social funnels? Throw it in the chat. Throw social in the chat if you love the idea of a social funnel. Loved hearing from Rebekah. Loved hearing from Owen. Loved hearing from Taylor. So much good stuff. Here's what I bet you guys are all feeling. Throw me in the chat if you agree with this. Are you feeling closer to your next $10,000 month?
Me in the chat.
Give me a yes. Give me a me. I'm seeing some me's, some all capital me's. I love it.
Yeah.
Good to see it. I love it. Now, here's the thing that we also know, though. At the same time, you're probably already considering the roadblocks that you might have to deal with in order to continue to grow and continue to implement some of the stuff that we've talked about. And that's very normal. If that's you, throw me in the chat. Who's that? If that's you, that's a real thing. Me, I'm loving the honesty. Real. So here's the bad news, and I bring this up because when we can bring things up like this, we can create a different reality for you. Okay, so here's the bad news. 92% of creatives never hit $100,000 a year. And even worse than that, 50% of people never even hit $50,000 a year. Now that statistic alone is why Christy and I and Creative Rise are doing things like this tonight. We hope what you have already learned tonight, and we haven't even gotten into Q&A stuff, to actually talk about some implementation. We hope even just what you guys have gone through is going to help you break some of those statistics, okay? Yeah. But here's my question for you. What do you guys think the gap is? What is the bridge between knowledge and success? Throw it in the chat. What's your guess?
Throw it in the chat.
How do you get from knowledge, which we've just given you, to success? Action, execution. I love it. Implementation is the word that we are going to use for the sake of this, but I love that you guys are on it, right? It's systems, it's consistency, it's action, it's doing the right things. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a screenshot of this, okay? These are the 6 pillars of building a 6-figure business. I don't care what anybody tells you and what some YouTube video tells you or what some podcast tells you. If they're making it more complicated than this, it's just a little bit faulty. You can boil down a 6-figure business foundation to these 6 pillars and nothing else. This is all 6 of them. This is great because once you can focus on building out all of these and implementing all 6 of these pillars, you're going to be in a way better spot than you were last year. So pillar number 1 is bulletproofing your offers and your pricing. Pillar number 2 is obviously your brand strategy. Pillar number 3 is building a profitable network. Industry relationships, right? Pillar number 4 is the full get booked marketing system. So like, how do you actually take social funnels, referral systems, organic marketing, SEO, paid advertising? How do you use all of those to work for you in order to build the full get booked marketing system? Pillar number 5 is sales. Anybody throw me in the chat if you feel like sales is real uncomfortable for you as a creative.
I hate a sales call.
Yeah.
You hate a sales call.
Christy and I used to hate sales calls because it felt like we had to.
So nervous.
Yeah, but it felt like you had to like show up in front of a brand or a bride and be someone you weren't. And it just felt really like hard, you know? Yeah. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be like that. There are certain things that if you do in the sales process, you can feel very comfortable, very yourself, and still be successful at it. Pillar number 6 is you wrap all of that together and you learn how to scale it, right? So you take all those systems and you add scale. How do you scale your time? How do you scale your money? So building up teams and stuff. Yeah. And how do you now scale your system? So these are the 6 pillars. And these are another good example, just to encourage you, of people who have built out the 6 pillars. They're so awesome. I don't think they're on the call tonight. She quite literally could be giving birth. Chanel is pregnant. They're awesome. Yeah. And they did $100,000 in 5 months in last year, and they sent us this note. They were like, yo, we're already past 100K in 2025 in just 5 months. And it's such a trip because before meeting that, you guys, and jumping on into the Mastermind, that was our biggest dream to hit that in a year. And we hit that in 5 months. And they went on to do 6 figures last year. They're building out a multiple 6-figure business. They're awesome. They're around 10 graduates of the round 10 of the 6-figure Creative Rise Mastermind. Go check them out on Instagram, Rhinell Media. Great, great people. And since 2019, we've gotten to help Christy and I. For the last 7 years, we've gotten to help 416 to the exact business, other creatives build out these 6 pillars, these exact same 6 pillars I just showed you, and build them into their businesses through this right here, the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. Now, this is the proven business mastermind over the last 7 years that has helped 416, not 380, 416 creatives. This is the number that I want to park on for a second. And I'm going to show you this because I talked about it earlier, but $136 million. There are lots of people that say creatives don't make money. I cannot comprehend how there has never been a better time to be a self-employed creative. I've got a t-shirt that we made that says Self-Employed Creator Club. There's never been a better time to rock that because we live in an attention economy. Whether you're in the wedding industry, whether you're in the brand industry, people are needing creatives at a rate they've never needed them before. So in order to actually take advantage of that, though, you've got to have all 4 of these opportunities accessible to you. So the first thing is you've got to have strategic tools systems, and knowledge. Okay. You've got to get more of what you've been getting tonight. Really, the proven frameworks, the systems, the strategies, what Owen talked about, what Rebekah talked about, what Taylor talked about. You have to have also a no gatekeeping community. Throw me in the chat if you feel like this has been a fun experience tonight, because we've just been like not gatekeeping stuff. We've been giving everything we can to you, showing you numbers, showing you pricing models. Those types of environments are really, really fun, and people flourish in those because often the creative industry can be so hush hush and no one grows when it's like that. You also need growth focused accountability. I can tell you this. If I did not have accountability in my life as a business owner, things would just not get done. I'd be out skiing, I'd be playing pickleball, I'd be walking my dog. You know, I need people to be holding me accountable to the things I say I want to do. If I'm going to tell Owen, dude, I'm going to pitch 15 brands this week, I want Owen to shoot me a text and be like, dude, who are the brands you're pitching? Did you send them off yet, right? Growth focused accountability is so, so important. And last but not least, it's really helpful to have a guide. It's very, very helpful to have a guide in front of you who's been where you're trying to go, who can help guide you through the process of implementation, because while the systems, the frameworks, the strategies might be the same for everybody, everyone's business is slightly unique. And so having specific, tactical context on how you can implement something for your own unique business is incredibly important. So all 4 of those opportunities that we all need to take advantage of are the exact 4 things that we have built the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind to be based around. And that is why over the last 7 years, 6.5 years, we have helped creatives make $136 million, because we've stringed those 4 things together in a way that actually creates a lot of opportunity for creatives. So inside of the Mastermind, how we do this here at Creative Rise, we have on-demand modules to give you all the strategic tools, systems, and knowledge. We have weekly group coaching calls to really give you a no gatekeeping community and access to coaching, right? We've got semi-private strategy calls and pod groups to keep you accountable and to give implementation advice from Christy and I. And obviously, we have no gatekeeping community in terms of a community platform, the podcast, Instagram group chats. And so we really try and leverage all 4 of those to make sure that we're giving people access, and creatives that really want to grow, full access to all 4 of those opportunities. So if you're wondering, you heard Owen talk about it, you heard Rebekah talk about it, you heard Taylor talk about it, there's people in the chat talking about it. The 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind, who is it for? Who do we build it for? Well, the answer is right here.
Absolutely. So this is built for brand photographers and filmmakers. So if you're in the brand space, whether you're wanting to work with big nationwide product brands or whether you're wanting to work with local service-based businesses, this is built for you. If you are a wedding photographer or filmmaker and you want to be working with destination couples, or you want to be working local, or you just want to scale what you're doing in a really healthy way, this is built for you. If you are a content creator, you're someone who wants to work with businesses, but more in the UGC space, or as an influencer or a content creator, this is for you.
Also, do we recognize that person? Do we recognize that fun photo? That looks like I might be Taylor.
Like that might be Taylor. And if you are again, social media manager, if you're a social media professional, this is also for you. This was literally designed for service-based creatives. And we have had, again, as Joey said, over 400 graduates go through the Creative Rise Mastermind and come out absolutely swinging in their creative businesses, which is so, so cool. So we got a ton of names here. They've worked with a ton of the biggest brands in the world, like North Face, Arc'teryx, Toyota, Ford, Tacovas, Canon, Vans. Like the list literally goes on.
Hey, throw in the chat. If you see a brand in here you want to work with one day, call it out. I want to know which brand it is. This is so cool to be like, people that have gone through and are a part of the Creative Rise community have gotten to work with all these brands. These are the biggest brands in the world, which is really cool.
Which is awesome.
Heather says Lulu. Lulu would be so sick.
And shows that it's absolutely doable.
Ash, cool. I worked with Lulu. That's so awesome. Congratulations. That's amazing. Mercedes, any of them.
That's great. Or maybe you're in the wedding space, or maybe you're not in the wedding space, but you want to travel and get paid to travel for your work. If you want to go to places like Switzerland, Scotland, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, some of you guys live in these places, which is incredible. But if you want to travel and get paid to do what you love in the wedding space or in the brand space, this is also built for you.
Yeah, they've got to travel all over the world. So here's 2 more quick success stories that we love to shout out. Dagan from Australia is an outdoor photographer and filmmaker. Love this dude. He's a round 11 graduate. Dagan, when we met him, he was literally like dirtbagging around Australia, climbing, having a ton of fun, but like really trying to figure out how to make the business side of it work. And last year, he ended up doing $140,000 in his business, which is insane. And he still got to do what he loved. He didn't give up his lifestyle. We got to hang out with him in Yosemite. He was in Yosemite for like 4 or
Climbing
5
El Cap,
weeks,
which is
just like
crazy.
hanging out, climbing all the big walls. So he was able to accomplish this 140 grand in a year while still not sacrificing his lifestyle. Or Haley, we love Haley. She's from Vancouver Island up in Canada. She's so awesome. She's around 7 graduate. She built a multiple 6-figure business in the wedding space, selling photos and videos to brides, which is super, super cool. We've got so many other stories, guys, that you guys can go through and watch. And I would encourage you, jump on over to creativerise.com and watch some of these stories. And the reason why I say watch them is it is so important that you are putting yourself in proximity to good, healthy people that are growing in the industry you want to be in. It's so, so inspiring to be hearing from people that are in your state, in your country, in your industry, and seeing what they have done and leveraged in order to actually grow their business, which is super, super awesome.
Awesome. And all of these people, you guys, came from various levels of where they were at in their creative business. Some of them were just starting. They had 9-to-5s that they were trying to leave, and they had literally had created 0 income in their business. And some people who had already gotten started, but they wanted to learn how to scale to multiple 6 figures or to do it in a sustainable way, which is super cool.
Super cool. So we're going to get into Q&A in a second, guys, which I'm so stoked about. So the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind is everything that we've just talked about without the guesswork, giving you access to all of that. The big news, the reason why we're talking about this right now, before we jump into Q&A, is today is an exciting day.
It's an
Super exciting
day.
day.
So you might have gone, hey, that all sounds so cool. That's awesome. You guys must run this all year round, all the time, can jump in whenever. That's not true. And you might be wondering, oh, you must take hundreds of people at a time and all that kind of stuff. Also not true. We only run this twice a year, and we only take 35 creatives. Okay.
Why do we only take 35?
And we only take 35 is because Joey and I intimately work with the 35 creatives, and we keep it intimate so people get actual results. Nothing grinds our gears more than people on the internet selling crazy stuff and it doesn't work, and there's no actual implementation, and no environments to create results, right? So much of you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys, I've experienced this before, where you buy a course or you buy something and you get it and you're like, all right, I'll look at that another day, or maybe I'll go through it, but I hit a roadblock. I don't want to implement it. We've decided to create an environment, an intimate environment that actually helps generate results. And so we've got big news, and it's here. Our next round of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind is coming, and it is starting March 15th. It is finally here, which is awesome. And again, it's limited to 35 businesses. That is all. So we are not here to hard sell you out.
No.
We have sold this thing out every single time, and we will do the exact same thing right now. But we want to reward you guys for being on this workshop, because public applications launch March 1st. But you get something special tonight because you're on the workshop.
So for being on this workshop, we just, for the first time in the last 8 months, just opened up the application to the people that had signed up on the wait list for early bird access to this. We launched that earlier today, like at noon today, which is really exciting. We got
tons of calls.
Yeah, tons of applications have already come in, and we just want to make sure you guys all know that this is happening, because a lot of people want to take advantage of potentially getting a spot in this so that we can help you make 2026 the best year ever. So here's what we're going to be doing week by week, real quick, and we're going to jump into some Q&A.
March 15th.
Starting March 15th, we are going to be helping you week 1 focus on building out your offers and your pricing. Literally, we're going to look at all your offers, all your pricing, and we are going to change them in order to make sure they're optimized for the future you're trying to create. We're going to focus on your brand strategy, make sure that that is tip-top shape, dial in your ideal client. We're going to help you build a profitable network. That photo right there of Christy and I with that awesome person in the middle, she's awesome. Her name's Lori, but this is a good example of that. Lori is a massive female entrepreneur. She runs multiple businesses. We do a lot of work for her. She's got one of the biggest podcasts for women in the world. How do you build relationships with people like that? We're going to be breaking that down, whether you're in the brand industry, whether you're in the wedding industry. Then we're going to be talking about the Get Booked marketing system. What are all the strategies? What are the social funnels you're going to be using? How are we going to help you implement that in week 4? Week number 5, we're going to be teaching you how to sell in a way on sales calls that feels very relevant to you, very comfortable to you. Week 6, we're going to be talking about scale. So here is what we really want to leave you with about the mastermind. And I'm about to jump into Q&A here, but our $100,000 month, we made $108,000 in 1 month selling photo and video and brand strategy projects. We showed you that earlier on this workshop. That was really cool. That was a goal. That was awesome. But I promise you, your next $10,000 month to us is way cooler. Like, that gets us way more excited, way more excited, because that is when your life is really starting to change, which is super, super significant. So here's the deal. As Christy said, applications go live on March 1st. But if you apply for early access today, you get not only early access to the mastermind, you're going to get $100 off enrollment, and we're also going to grant you a course bundle that you can take advantage of the second you get your spot, even before the mastermind starts on March 15th. That's worth over $1,000 worth of bonus courses, which is great. So if anything that we've been talking about tonight, if any of the stuff you've seen from the guest experts, from us earlier on in this, if you're like, I would love to implement that, I would love to get more of that strategy, I want the whole 6 pillars, I want to make 2026 the best year ever, all you got to do is just jump on over to Instagram, grab your phone real quick, then come back. Don't get too distracted. Grab your phone, go to Instagram, go to Creative Rise, and just DM us the words round 15 right there. And this is what you're going to do. It's going to send you something to opt in. So you're going to opt in for early access. You can apply tonight after this workshop's over. Take some time and apply. It's a pretty fun application. It's video, audio, or text. So you can kind of engage with it in some fun ways, which is cool. So we can really get to know you and your business. And then we will really look at your application, see if it's going to be the best fit, and tell you very honestly if this is going to be a good fit for you for one of the 35 spots. So every time we do this, we get like, 100, 110 applications for the 35 spots. So it's important that if you have any interest in this, even a little bit, jump on over there. We'll throw the link in the chat too if you want to jump on over there. Christy will type that as I'm jumping through this, but go opt in for early access, apply right away, do it tonight, get on our calendar so we can chat with you about if this is going to be a great fit for you. And you can start getting on there. So real quick, you might be asking, what does this cost? I'll cover this super quick. We're very, very upfront with this. And the reason why is because the ROI on this, over the last 6 and a bit years, we've tracked the ROI on what people make inside of the mastermind. And the data shows that the average person gets an awesome, we're super proud of this, a 3x return within 60 days, which is very, very cool. Something we're incredibly proud to be able to say and stand on.
Round make during the 6 weeks.
35 businesses in the 6 weeks. These are all businesses that are opting in saying, I want to grow my business. It's not where I want it to be. In the last one, which we ran at the end of summer last year, they made $510,000 as a group of 35 businesses in 6 weeks, cash collected. Crazy. Which is amazing. That same group will go on to do multiple, like $3 or $4 million or $5 million in 2026, which is incredible. So you have a pay in full option. You save 10%, $28.97, flat rate, no tax, tax deductible to your business as well. So it's a business investment, okay? It's a tax deductible investment. Or there's a payment plan. If you want to break it up over a couple of months, that's also awesome. $7.95 per month if you want to break it up, which is really cool. So important info, we're only taking 35 spots. Round 15 is starting on March 15th. So DM round 15 in order to jump in and get access to the application, which is awesome.
And we get so hyped about this, you guys. And I love that we're running this workshop in February because I feel like January is everyone gets hyped. They get new goals for their business. But by February hitting, a lot of people are like, man, it's not quite cracking the way I thought it was going to crack January 1st. Yeah. I'm already hitting some roadblocks. I'm already hitting some discouragement. I'm just sitting here trying to Google and chat GPT my way to success. And it's just not working. And you guys, this is all about the business side of your business. Yeah. We don't talk about cameras, lighting, any of that kind of stuff. No. We talk about the business strategies that create real change in your business. And we feel like Creative Rise just exists to help more creatives succeed at doing what they love. And so if you want to, in 2026, build an extremely profitable, fulfilling business for yourself as a self-employed creative, we want to help you do that. We only have 35 spots. So if you want to get in, I would really highly encourage you to fill out your application tonight, even if it's late or whatever you got to do, fill out the application tonight. We're going to be going through a ton of this stuff. We already got a bunch of calls booked. And so if there's a call time in the application that doesn't work for you, DM us and we'll find something for you guys. We really appreciate you guys being on this workshop. So we want to open it up early.
And we're not done. We're about to get into like an hour plus of Q&A. If you guys want, it's going to be so good. So
we get so excited about this. So if you guys seriously want to be a part of this, we would love to hear your application.
This is a common question real quick. Should I just wait for the next one? You absolutely can. 100%. The question though is, do you want to wait 6 to 8 months from now to really get the things that you know your business is starving for, the things that your business has an appetite for, get the community and get the accountability? If the answer to that is no, then now would be a great time to figure out how to make it happen. So the time commitment every month, real quick, 30 to 45 minutes of modules per week. We drip you modules on all 6 of the pillars. You go through those on your own time. And then we all meet every single week, have an hour-and-a-half coaching call, which is so fun. We're going to break you guys up into breakout groups. We get to chat and engage with you there. We'll audit all of your stuff. And then we have a semi-private strategy call with you in week 1 for 60 minutes with you and 2 other businesses in your pod. It's your accountability group. And Christy and I are really going to get into the weeds there on what your own growth strategy for your specific business looks like. Because again, everyone's businesses are unique. And this might be my favorite part. The last one here is you have 24/7 access to us. Christy and I, she just said this earlier. We do not do this all year round. This is also why we only take this 35 businesses per time. Is we have to limit it and only run it twice a year in order to make sure you actually get the intentionality from us that you deserve in order for your business to actually get a really significant change. So we've got 24/7 coaching from Christy and I, accessible the whole time through our community platform, through the app, through our Instagram chat, and more, which is awesome. So we're going to roll through. Again, this is for brand photographers, filmmakers, wedding photographers, filmmakers, content creators, and social media professionals.
Just starting out, or you're already doing over 6 figures. This is built for you, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, DM round
15. And we are going to give away a tripod, guys. So we have the winner in our text right here. Our team already ran the
yes.
Ran
right here.
Oh, you got it right here?
Yep. All right.
I was going to say, where is it?
Mackenzie, she's incredible. All right, but remember, you have to be here in order to win. Will.
Drum roll, please.
It's Will Shua here.
If your name is Will and your last name is Shua, hope we're saying that right.
Shout out in the chat.
Are you here? We're going to go through a couple people. You got to be here to win the tripod. Throw it in the chat. Are you here, Will? You've got 5 seconds, and then we're moving to the next person.
2, 1. Okay. Here we've got an Abby, but hold on. I know we've probably got a lot of Abby's on this call. If your Instagram handle is @imagesbyabby with ABBII, are you here? Abby, are you here?
Hey, Abby. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do. Everyone hype up Abby in the chat. So Abby, what I want you to do is go to Creative Rise Instagram right now. I want you to send us a DM. Actually, even better, Abby, go to Creative Rise's Instagram, then click in the bio, click on my personal Instagram. I want you to DM me. DM me your name and your address, and I'm going to, by the end of tomorrow, I'm going to get one of these shipped out to you, a $400 value tripod, the best tripod in the game, and we're going to get it shipped on out to you. So, Abby, thanks for hanging out. I'm glad you want it. Also, Abby, throw in the chat, what is your business so everyone can just see what you do as the person who won. I love it. All right, guys, well, we're going to get into some bonus Q&A here. So we are going to hang on here for probably the next hour doing some Q&A. And I would encourage you to hang on because this is where we're going to really help you implement a lot of the questions that you have asked. Oh, my gosh.
Let's go.
Okay, well, Abby, it might take you a little bit to get that tripod to Oahu, potentially. Maybe, maybe not. But we're going to do our best to get it to you as soon as we can. So Christy and I are going to be scrolling through the Q&A here. And as Christy's looking for a question, she's going to scroll through. Here's one more prompt for the chat. If you are interested in joining the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind, you want a potential spot in round 15, throw a me in the chat. I want to see who you are so I can remember your names. When we're going through the applications later on tomorrow, once you guys fill it out, I love it.
Yeah. And if
Kylie, Katie, Evan, love it.
If you've got questions around the mastermind, feel free to throw them in the chat as well. We can answer some of them.
In the Q&A panel. Throw them in the Q&A panel. We're an open book. You can ask us anything you want about the mastermind or our own businesses. We're happy to chat. This is how you guys are just going to get a ton of value out of this. So here's the first question we are going to be starting out with, okay? Cass, thank you for being here. Cass says, how do you get away with value-based pricing if you're just starting out in your business? So Cass, this is a great question. I'm assuming this question is coming from the perspective of, I feel a little bit insecure about the proof that I have to show people that they should trust me or that I'm not risky to work with. So Cass, throw a me in the chat if you're still here. Would love to be able to answer this just knowing you're still here. But regardless, I'm going to answer it. My answer to this is if you're just starting out and you want to get into value-based pricing, I want you to focus heavily on your process, heavily on your systems, and heavily on your knowledge of how the client you're working with, what they want, and how you can help them reach it. So here's what I mean by that. If you're in the wedding industry, okay, how do you focus on getting a wedding client ROI? Well, what is the return on investment when it comes to a wedding? Well, it's not monetary, right? You're not going to like make a bride money. But what's true is the return on investment in the wedding industry is you're going to help someone have photos that they can look back on for the rest of their lives and hopefully not hate them, right? They're going to love them. They're going to get to remember the moments of the best day of their life for the rest of their life. You might be unbelievable on a wedding day at helping things flow well, getting the chaos of families like together, right? And that's also like a great way that you can describe how you give somebody a return on their investment. Now, in the brand industry, it's very important you think about, what is this company trying to accomplish? What are they trying to achieve? And what does my contribution to that look like? So number one, if you are new and you're wanting to get into value-based pricing, you need to have a good understanding of what they're trying to accomplish, whether it's the bride or it's the brand or it's the business and you're doing social media management for them. You need to have an idea of what they're trying to accomplish, and you have to be able to make sure you communicate that. Hey, I know you're going for this goal. I know that you're probably trying to achieve this. Here's the second part. Here's now my process, my plan in which I am going to help you get there. So another example, if you had two creatives in front of me, let's say I have $5,000 for a project. Creative number one is only $4,000. Creative number two is $5,000. And I'm trying to be budget conscious, but creative number two that only is worth $4,000, they don't really have too much of a plan. They're like, yeah, just send us the product. We'll get it shot. We'll get it over to you in the next couple of weeks. But then creative number one, who's more expensive, is like, hey, once you send us the product, I'm going to book a discovery call with you to really understand the product, make sure we know exactly how to shoot it and exactly what types of shots you're looking for. We'll build out a whole mood board. We'll also have a Notion deck to count our whole shot list that will get approved by you prior to the shoot. And then once we shoot everything, we'll get everything delivered to you in 7 days. Which one are you hiring? Doesn't matter who's newer. It matters who has a better process, and plan you can actually lean into and trust. Throw it in the chat. Just say, hey, this is resonating with me, or I'm getting this, or this is good if you're with me on this. So this is how you use value-based pricing. If you are newer, you have to just qualify yourself in different ways. If you don't have a lot of experience, that's fine. Show them that you've got a plan, okay?
Yes.
So that is super, super important.
All right, I'm going to bring up Owen for our next question we've got here from Quaid. We've got, hey, Owen, could you give an example of something a brand might not be doing well and how you explain that to them? Do you have an example of that? How do you,
That's a good question.
How do you tell them what they're doing wrong without pissing them off is essentially what the question is.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So like, you want to kind of like compliment sandwich it a little bit, right? Like when I was doing that presentation, like the first thing you do is you highlight something they're doing well, right? Because if you just come in hot and you're like, hey, like you're not doing this well, whatever, right? That can kind of piss some people off. So like start with like what they're doing well. And then Christy, you were bringing me up. I missed like part of that question. What, could you reread it?
Yeah, just like do you have an example of how you would like phrase that for somebody? Like if you were to say for a brand, what's something they're not doing well, how do you like phrase that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, start with like a compliment, something they're doing well, and then be like, hey, I did notice though, like you don't have a lot of, and like the problem can vary, right? It can be something as big as like, okay, they don't have any videos, right? So it can be like, hey, you're doing a great job here. I did notice though, you don't have a lot of video content. Video has, over a 3 times higher click-through rate than photo. Like this is probably affecting your sales. Like something like come at it from like, hey, I want to really try and help you. Or you guys say it all the time, right? Get on the same side of the table as them. Put your arm around them and be like, hey, like, let me try and help you rather than being like confrontational, right?
Good.
Yes.
Absolutely. I like the way you phrase that. It phrases it like an opportunity. So rather than like, hey, you suck, you're not doing it right. It's like, hey, this opportunity of video or of paid or whatever you're trying to pitch, this opportunity is here and I would love to help you guys take advantage of that, right? Rather than making them sound like idiots, it's more painting the opportunity, which is super cool. Another question, Owen, Andrew, he says, hey, following up on pitches is awesome. How do you keep everything organized with who you've pitched?
This is a great question.
Or tools that you use that you can share with the crowd?
That's such a good question. Yeah, so I'm like very bare bones. Like I just have an Excel sheet and there's a few columns. There's like, what's the brand name? When did I first reach out to them? When do I need to follow up? And then like, what's the, marketing manager's name and email? There's like, people use HubSpot, like Monday.com where it like automates it. But like, I've just been doing it for such a long time. It's like the first thing I do on my work day is like wake up. I'll kind of like go through that whole Excel sheet and be like, okay, who do I have to follow up with? So I just do it manually like that. But like, again, there's other softwares that are helpful too.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Hey, throw it in the chat. Anybody here, by the way, if you're super interested in pitching, I just threw a coupon code to our pitching masterclass, $50 off. It really goes into depth on things that Owen was talking about. It's actually the full framework that Owen learned a lot of that stuff from. So that's also included in the mastermind. If you're interested in the mastermind, that's a part of the mastermind. But if you just want to check that out too, you can jump on into the chat and grab that. But hey, throw it in the chat. Is anyone here a Notion person? Because I'll give you a quick template if you are a Notion person for it's a very simple Notion template, but it's actually a pitching like tracker that Christy and I use when we're pitching people. Hold on, guys. It's just loading. Notion's being slow. I'm just trying to copy the link so you guys can use it and duplicate it into your own Notion.
Yeah.
It's literally just let me try refreshing here. Okay, here it is. Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another question though. While I'm also doing this, what does a follow-up look like for you? Because you and I have talked about how important follow-ups are tonight. Give some people an example of what a follow-up looks like.
Yeah.
That's a question that was also in Q&A.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't have to be like a specific format, right? It could even be, like my first one will usually be like 3-4 days after I send my first email. And it'll just be like, hey, I'm sure you're super busy. You just wanted to bump this to the top of your inbox. Like super pumped about the chance to help you guys out or opportunity to help you out. Just take a look at my previous email for context. That's like a good first one. Then you can actually do like a case study one. So like that Go Macro example, like, hey, just following up here again, we would love to jump on a call and tell you how we helped Go Macro reach over 893K people. Like hit the link here to grab a call. And then, I'll do like more than 2 or 3 sometimes, but it can even just be like, hey, like just saw your most recent social post. Like that looks awesome. Like would love to share some ideas with you. And just, but the one thing actually, Joey, you were saying this, like you get to the point where after you've done so many follow-ups for the same like ideas, you have to switch up the ideas and come back to them with different stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's all.
That's awesome.
100%.
Following up in a different mode. So like if you're doing email, it's like, hey,
get them on social.
Get them on socials. And that's another like pitching tactic, guys. It's not just doing one avenue, right? You want to pick multiple modes of communication because you never know if the email's going to spam or just no one's even monitoring it or only the interns monitoring the DMs. Like you gotta hit them in different places in order to get the best bang for your buck. So even follow-ups, you can apply that too. Start commenting on their YouTube videos. Hey, I sent you an email. Did you get it? Like, just start going everywhere you can.
Be everywhere.
That's awesome, Owen.
Literally be everywhere. And guys, if you want, again, pitching masterclass right there. I threw it in the chat, but we also not only give you the full masterclass where I break down all the systems for pitching, but I also give you literally a PDF with the scripts for your pitch and for the follow-up. So if you want to shortcut it, it's a really easy way to get there. But Owen, I love that, man. Well, Owen, last question for you, but this is a personal question before we jump into some other questions here, but what was a highlight from your last year? More of a personal question, like about your business. I know you had a great year last year. What's like a job or a deal that you were really stoked on that you can leave us with and get pumped up with? Other than getting married.
I know, that was
the biggest deal you locked out.
That was the biggest, for real. Okay, probably. So like one of my we did this in the mastermind, like you make a list of like your top 10 like dream brands. And
your hit list.
Yeah, and a brand towards the top of that list, they were like 2 or 3 was Huckberry. And we got to work with them, which was like so much fun. So probably that was like a ton of fun. Yeah.
Sick. What was, real quick, what were the deliverables like for that brand? Because a lot of people are probably like, what is even working with a brand like that with Owen look like?
Yeah, we did like a custom package for them, which is good because like we have set packages, but like it's always good to be flexible just because brands needs change, right? But like for them, it was 2 15 to 30 second reels. Some of the B-roll that went into creating those reels, like giving that to them too.
The clip library and stuff,
Clip library, and then I think 25 images, and then it was like 2 brand strategy calls, and then we basically handled like, the whole brief, sourcing all the talent, agents and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the campaign production and development. Love it, man.
That's awesome.
Well, bro, legend. We're gonna bring Rebekah up to answer a question here. You're the man, Owen. If you hang around, we might have some more questions for you if you are around. But so good to see you again, bro. Thanks for answering those.
All right, I'm bringing up Rebekah right now.
Rebekah, what's going on? Good to see you again.
Hey, she's back.
Hello.
Okay, got a couple questions for you. The first one being, and I really like this one. This one's from an anonymous attendee, so they didn't put their name. But she says, hey, she or he says, hey, I am a newer photographer and dream of doing luxury weddings and brand photography. I'm only 2 years into doing photography and feel like I have a lot to learn before I can pitch myself as someone who can do this. Basically, what do you do with that? Can you pitch yourself as a wedding photographer? Like, should you do it when you haven't done things before? How do you approach that? Because I remember we talked about this on the podcast when we had you on,
Yes.
and you are just the pitching queen. So
I love
a
this.
lot of people believe wedding people can't pitch themselves. What is your opinion on that?
I think you 100% can. Like, I've done it before. And actually, one of my favorite weddings that I shot last year, I pitched the bride. And so even like 6 years in, 5 years in, I still am pitching people. I think you can totally do it and you should. And 2 years in is like, I feel like at 2 years in, my work was still good. Like, I'm sure you're really talented, and sometimes even the people that are like newer have just a different eye because they haven't been around as long. So I feel like just literally believe in yourself, and you don't have to have like, there's not a certain level of number of years you have to be in this to get to different levels. I feel like that's a huge misconception in the industry. There's some people that I look up to who have been doing this like as long as I have, and they're like insane, doing like even crazier weddings like than I'm doing. There's this one girl who she was like a in the CIA, something like crazy whole career, and she quit and started doing weddings. She's been doing this for like 2 years, and she's like has probably 30,000 followers on Instagram, charges like $25,000 per wedding. So it's like 2 years doesn't define where your business could be at.
Yeah.
And I would say if you pitch clients, when you pitch like potential clients, I would just like really try to make sure it's going to be worth it for you, because I've done weddings for free or like pitch clients, gave them a deal, and like some of them it was like super worth it, and then some of them I feel like it's just, if it's not like marketable, if it's not like the actual weddings you really want to be doing, then why would you even do it? So that's like just my few notes of like, definitely do it. You don't need a certain like number of years in the industry to be able to be making really good money, be able to shoot high-end weddings. But if you're going to be like pitching people, especially offering them discounts or doing things for free, just really take a scope of, is the client, do they look like your dream client? Is it at a place where you really want to shoot? Is it with a planner or other vendors that you really want to shoot with? Those would be things I would take into consideration, because you don't want to just do like 20 weddings for free and then like be like, oh, these are all actually not that good. So that's just my opinion.
That's awesome.
I love that.
And
that's so good.
A little quote from Rebekah from the podcast, where she said, "Rejection is afraid of me."
Yes.
So she would just go and pitch people on TikTok in the comments, and like you would just message brides that were like, "Hey, I just got engaged," and you're like,
100%.
"And I'm getting married in Italy," and you're like, "Hey, I want to shoot that." Like, you can pitch yourself, and you can also then charge. You don't have to do it for free. You can charge for it, which is amazing. So Rebekah, you've gotten some incredible weddings that way, and I love that you pitch yourself, which is awesome.
Rebekah, this is also a great question that came in through the Q&A panel here. And this is a little bit like multifaceted, but this says, more details, please, on Rebekah's 4 email nurture sequence. So here's what the first question I want to ask you, because I think a lot of creatives feel stuck on the first step, which is, what was your actual like email provider you were using in order to drip that sequence to people?
Yeah, I was using Flowdesk, and I've used that platform multiple times. That was great. So I would recommend it.
Yeah. So guys, we got like Flowdesk, you got MailChimp, different CRMs like Lemly, Honeybook does this too. There's a bunch of different CRMs that you can get where you can drip sequences to people so you don't have to do it manually, which is also really awesome. Okay, Rebekah, let's talk about your actual emails. Like, let's talk about the substance of those emails, because you mentioned this when you were teaching, but a lot of people, they go and shoot the content. They might even post the content on their Instagram. They might try and give away something for free that's going to nurture someone a little bit. But the reality is once they give it to them, they don't have like a nurture strategy on the back end. And those leads end up kind of going cold because they weren't as intentional as they could be. So you had a 4 email sequence that was automatically dripped to people that downloaded your Santorini guide. And real quick, right off the top, like, what was each of those emails like titled, or like what was the subject of each of those emails? And then I'll maybe ask you a question or two about like some of the context in each of those.
Totally. So the first email was delivering the guide. And so it was just super quick. Like, I think it was just super energetic, very like, here's the guide that you've been waiting for. Like, download it here. Can't wait for you to like dive into everything. And then the second email was introducing me. I can't remember the exact email like titles, but I'll just give the basic idea.
Yeah.
The second one was introducing me into the world of like just, and it wasn't like all about, it wasn't like I shoot on this how many years I've been doing it. It was just like, hey, like I love creating art for people and I'm super passionate about it, blah blah blah. Super quick little like introduction of me. Then the third email was it was like a mood boarding guide. I don't even remember, Pinterest guide, something, another guide of some sort that was like an activity that they could do with their significant other to like get them excited for their wedding and start
so more value.
Yeah, providing more value. And then the last email that I sent was like a pitch of just being like, this is why you should work with me. And that all happened within a week. So I wanted it to be pretty like, I didn't want it to be too spread apart where they're like, wait, who's this person? Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I don't want to get emails from this person. Keeping it simple, keeping it about them. So yeah, that's kind of a brief idea of what I did.
I love it. So good. And Rebekah, kind of a similar question I just asked Owen, but what's a wedding that you shot last year? So I know you had some awesome weddings. Give us a 2025 wedding that you were just like, super stoked on. Give us like a little brief of like what you had sold them in terms of your like package, just so people have some context on something you were pumped about from last year.
Yeah, it was actually one that I pitched. I like found this girl on TikTok and she had a 5-day wedding in Italy, which was crazy, insane. 2 of the days were in Florence, 3 of the days were in Tuscany. I had my 2 other like pod girls from the Mastermind come with me. They're like my best friends. If you're like considering do the Mastermind, I'm just saying like it was life-changing for my business, but I also met genuinely like these people I was meant to meet 100%. Were like Joey and Christy had something going on, some magic up their sleeves because they're like truly people who have changed my life.
Well, you've also
anyway,
you've literally
the traveling pants over
you've
there.
literally like traveled the world. How many countries do you think you've been to with that group of girls?
I think at least 4.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And they're like, we just went out and saw like one of the girls' babies or just like had her baby shower. Like we're just like, it's so awesome. But
so fun.
Yeah, they came with me and we shot the wedding together. 5-day wedding in Italy. It's going to get featured on The Lane, which is huge for me. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
In the next 2 weeks. So I'm really stoked.
Amazing.
So cool.
So pumped for you, Rebekah. Well, proud of you.
This question, because Holly just dropped it in the chat. Rebekah, how do you find potential brides to pitch for destination weddings? So how do you find those types of people?
Yeah.
On TikTok, there's like about 1 million. There's so many people. I would just be cautious. Like there's a lot of people posting. I feel like it's like a trend how it used to be on like Facebook groups where people are like, I need a photographer. And now people are doing that on TikTok. And so I would just be really cautious of like, okay, is this a good venue? Is this, because sometimes they're just wanting to lowball people and like wanting people to do it for free, which that's not a bad thing. But that's how I've found a lot of people that I've pitched is through TikTok or like Instagram Explore feeds or whatever.
Yeah. You know, I saw, TikTok is incredible for lead generation.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's better than Instagram. I actually just saw yesterday on TikTok, I was flowing through, which honestly, Abby, I wish I saved it because I could send it to you. But someone was like, hey, it was a wedding planner. And she's like, hey, I have a wedding on Oahu. Any Oahu-based photographers have a budget of around $10,000 who'd be willing to shoot this wedding. Like there's
I saw that. I think I saw that exact video actually. And I was like, yes, I do.
You're like, I can be
there's a lot of stuff on TikTok. Yeah, it's actually
crazy. On TikTok. I love it. Well, thank you, Rebekah. Appreciate the question and answers and all that stuff. And if you've got any other little things you want to add in, just throw it in the chat.
Throw in the chat. Love Rebekah.
Thank you.
So proud of you. All right, we're going to bring Taylor back up. This is a great question about socials that we're going to jump on.
Yes, we want
from Mia. Mia, thank you for throwing your chat in, your question into the Q&A panel. Mia, you said, Taylor, as Taylor gets brought up, you said, Taylor, when you are targeting these higher value clients, How do you ensure that you're actually providing higher value content, higher quality social media management so they see the value? So when you're charging more, what are some things you do, Taylor, to ensure that they're feeling the value as you're actually delivering?
Because she says, I feel concerned that I'm not good enough to reach out to these more luxury brands and charge more, and I would love some advice.
Great question.
Yeah, that is so. I am there still. Sometimes it's really easy, I think, to get imposter syndrome. But one thing that, like, as a first step for me when like interviewing or like talking to potential clients, is kind of getting a gauge for like the level of social media, like what their understanding is. Because if someone is, an uneducated business owner, they don't know marketing, they could be one of two people where they are like going to be a really helicoptery client where they don't trust you. They're always like over your shoulder. They're always like, I don't know, like, and then they're always like I had a client who was like, oh, you like posted this, or like the reel is like disappeared, but like put it back. And I'm like, that's a story, like temporarily, like they don't understand. And so there's like one client like where it could be helicopter versus there's another client that maybe has questions, but they trust you to teach them and take you through that process. So
yes,
step one is kind of like getting a gauge for like understanding how a client, like what their understanding of social media is, because that will help you feel like a lot more value based on the level of trust that they give you. And then as far as delivering them value, I think part of it is being confident, but like I'm a big analytics person, strategy. And so rather than just like grasping at straws and like posting whatever for the client, like we do a really deep, like 2-3 week onboarding process. We deep dive, we give them an audit. So when we go into with a client, I think that structure really shows them that you're taking the time to understand their industry. You're providing them with previous feedback for what they have been doing and like showing them the direction they're going to be going towards. So like doing a pitch deck of like, welcome on board. Here's what you have. Here's where we're going. And then they can see like, okay, like this is like a real thing. It takes time to develop a strategy. It takes time to implement, and then they're going to trust you along. I typically do, when I sign a new client on, I typically do a 3-month contract. And then when we renew, I try to do like 6 months to a year based on how the relationship is going. But I do think you can see true results in 3 months. And a lot of people give me really positive feedback of like, okay, like that feels like a good amount of time that like I can trust you to see some results and like get to know your process, and then hopefully we'll resign, and then we'll see even more further growth after that. But that's a big thing for me, is establishing the trust and then showing them the strategy.
So good. Great answer, Taylor. Here's another one that I think is awesome. So Taylor, this is from Raven. So Raven, thanks for the question. It says, Taylor, how many clients do you manage a month, and does it feel comfortable?
Great question. This is actually weird, not weird, but like I have been gone through a big transition the last 2 months. I had about 10 to 12 clients a month for a while in 2025. I had a team of myself plus 4 people. It was going really well, but there's just a lot more that's introduced when you have contractors and employees that you have to manage and kind of like be a leader and focus on building a business, but also managing a team. And I made the decision to let go of my team and just stick with me and one person instead of having such a high amount of people. And then now I manage 6 to 7 clients at a time between me and one other person. And what I realized in that shift was like, I let go of some clients, let go of some team members. So like the workload was a lot for a while, but I actually shifted and invested more of my money, like a fraction of the cost, because the largest portion of my expenses last year were contractor. And so that's great because if they're doing great work, but I have 6 to 7 clients and I invested a lot more into my systems. So I actually feel really good about where I'm at because I invested into a management tool that does so much for me. It like helps me with analytic reports. It schedules my content and it actually posts it. It doesn't fail.
Amazing.
What is the tool called?
It's called Vista Social. I've really liked it. I've had a really good success with it in the last 2 months that I've started using it. And I'm able to now have more money, have less clients, but still feel comfortable about where I'm at. And I'm not feeling like super overwhelmed. I will say 6 to 7 clients by yourself is a lot. But if you have all the right systems in place, it can be manageable. I also have no kids. I don't have any other responsibility at the moment outside of my business. So I do have a lot of time to delve into that, but feeling good.
I love it. Well, one more question here for you. This is a great question from Sky. This is a question for you. We'll touch on this a little bit. This really goes for anybody in the retainer world where you're working with clients on an ongoing basis, or maybe you're just working with a client for a second time. But the question is, if you have a client that it's kind of cheap, like cheaper pricing, because you used to work with them for much lower, how do you have the price raise conversation with them? Like, what does it look like to raise prices on clients that are outdated pricing? And I know you know this, we know this, but I know you've felt this before because you've gone from like $300 per month social media management packages to $4,000 per month social media packages. What does it look like in Taylor's world to actually raise rates on somebody? Because it's a difficult thing.
Totally. Before I answer that, Erica in the chat was asking if Rella was better or Business Social was better than Rella. In my opinion, yes. I tried Rella, didn't love it. Business Social, I think, is more robust. It's probably a little bit more expensive, but it has a lot more tools available. And then moving toward the question. So I literally just had this experience. I raised my prices on some existing clients, like I had said in my spiel. I have had most of my clients for 2 years, like full length of my business. And so I was like, okay, it's getting that time. Like, I'm going to have to boost you up. And so I did it with 2 clients. And it actually was way like less scary. Like, because I had such a personal relationship with them, they'd seen proof of concept with my work. I had basically initiated the conversation with an email of like, hey, email, like, how you doing? It's been so great working with you. Here's a link to an analytic report showcasing kind of like the last like not the whole 2 years. I mean, we could do the whole 2 years, but like the last 6 to 8 months of my work of like, here's where we were, here's where we are now. So like adding in that social proof of like, you can visually see my value. And then being like, I really want to work with you moving forward. They're like, I do need to increase whatever percent. Like I did an increase for a client where it was only like a $200 a month increase, but it brought me up a little bit more. It was like, that feels more comfortable to me with the work that I'm doing. So I think that having just like transparency, being confident, and if you like are working with the right people, they're going to see your value. And so I did that twice with 2 clients, and literally nobody even questioned me. They're like, great, like makes sense. And so I think just having the confidence, having that analytic report and like strategy proof of like, here's what I'm actually doing for you, also helps you kind of give that more confidence when you're presenting that offer.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
Taylor, super proud of you. Thanks for answering some more questions.
No.
Legend. We're going to drop it back down and get into some other questions here, but thank you, Taylor.
Yes.
Hype her up in the chat, guys. All right. So a couple more questions that we think are really good. We're going to rip through as many of these as we possibly can. So first one right here is, what percentage of your posts on your socials should be implementing the social funnel, so quote unquote salesy posts, versus more organic feeling, less salesy, relaxed posts? This is a very, very good question. So I don't think there's a very clear answer to this because everyone's got different goals, but the generalized answer to this is that your socials, if you are running a business and it's your business's socials, are designed to sell. Like, it's designed to push people into your funnel and designed to get you clients. And so the mistake people do is they almost always, we see people lean on the side of caution with sales-focused posts. Therefore, they don't end up getting enough clients. So I think the happy medium here, because you don't also want to be selling the whole time, but I think the happy medium here is always look for ways to make sure that there is some type of prompt for people to engage and work with you. So if it's an educational post, maybe at the bottom of the educational post, like, hey, if this felt super valuable to you, hit me up on DM. I'd love to ask you, or I'd love to answer this question for you if that's a question you have, Like, anytime you post anything that's not directly salesy, it's not just like hey, book me, here's the offer, here's how many clients I'm taking on. If it's not a post like that, I think if it's educational, if it's entertainment based, still make sure that there's some type of a prompt to have people come further down your funnel. So on a week basis, let's say you post 7 times in a week, I would probably say 3 of them should be sales posts, 4 of them should be like education forward, educating your clients on the problems they deal with, the opportunities in front of them, how you can help solve that, industry stuff that you're educating them on. So that's a really good question. That's what I would say. This is also a really good question from Ash.
Yeah, Ash says, how do you navigate the transition phase between local, smaller budget clients and consistently landing higher level strategic brand work? I've booked a $10,000 global campaign, but the majority of my pipeline is still local and small budgets. I've started outreach, doing spec work, and I'm excited to build my first funnel after this.
Sick. Well,
That's
it sounds like you're
awesome.
doing the right things if you're excited to build out your first funnel. So
Absolutely.
this is a great question, Ash. I appreciate you asking this. So navigating the transition from local, smaller budget to bigger budget is a couple things. Number one, obviously you got to get on the radar of brands that would be willing to take you more global. So that's the first thing. So a couple ways you can do that. Pitching is going to be massive. Okay. What Owen did not share about tonight, because we couldn't have him break down his entire business model, but something he's doing that we also do, and something that we've been working with him on as he's been doing it. Owen, if you're in the chat, feel free to kind of contribute to this because it's really awesome. But Owen launched last February. We were with him and helped him build out a social funnel with some paid advertising.
Yep.
And he was only spending, I don't know what he's spending today. I think it's pretty low, but he was only spending like $3 a day on paid ads, specifically targeting the industries he was going for. So for him, if you follow Owen, you'll end up probably seeing one of his paid ads, and his paid ads often go like this. It's like him walking in the bush, in the forest, because, you know, he's in Montana, and he's like, hey, are you a consumer product brand? Or are you a direct-to-consumer product brand who, and he talks about a problem, and then he talks about how Native releases a solution. And those ads, I know they have. Also, John Williams in the chat. He's been killing it. Owen says $5 a day. Owen, I want you to throw in the chat, how many meetings do you think you've booked in the last, let's say, month from $5 a day ads? And how much has it added to your business in terms of retainers? So Ash, like $5 a day ads really targeted towards your ideal client, bigger brands. You can start to book meetings with people seeing those ads, following you and be like, this is great. So you want to get on the radar of big brands via pitching, via organic social, via paid advertising if you want to go down that route. And then the other thing you then have to do is you have to really start showing your processes for stuff. So don't just post content that's like, look at the beautiful work I shot. Post content that's like, this was a global brand campaign that I shot and I had to fly to this location. Here's the breakdown, the day-by-day breakdown of what it looked like the day of on the campaign shoot. Like, post some BTS, stuff of you actually doing what you're trying to get hired to do. And BTS is really cool because it allows these big brands to see your process. And we talked earlier about process, Ash. Process is a massive trust builder. And so it's really important. You can go from the local, like $2,000 to $3,000 like brand, photographer. If you start showing really good process on bigger jobs and posting a lot of that and pitching with that, you can easily start being trusted by bigger brands. So those are a couple things that I would say. You said you're going to start your outreach. You can start doing spec work, and you're excited to build your first funnel. Dive on into that stuff. It's going to be huge.
Step I would include in your outreach, because we see this a lot. It happens a lot. People just start cold pitching like crazy, and they don't get the best results. I would implement something called the 10-cent rule. And this is one of our favorite things to encourage people to do. And it warms people up before you even pitch. So it makes your pitches land way better is if you can create a list, call it a hit list, get a list of maybe like 20 businesses that you're like really excited to work for. That would be more of those larger scale companies or even just larger revenue companies, whatever it is. Create a hit list of 20 of those people and go ahead and 5 times a week, go give 2 cents, which is why we call it the 10-cent rule. So 5 times a week, go and give your 2 cents, meaning go drop a comment, go tag them on your stories and be like, oh my gosh, I love, Poppy, like just got the Shirley Temple flavor, love it, whatever. Go and interact and give value for 5 times that week, right? 5 times. And then pitch the next week or pitch in 2 weeks and do it 5 times, 2 weeks in a row, and then send your pitch. Because oftentimes, and this has happened to me, this has happened to Joey, it's happened to a bunch of other creatives, is sometimes you will be 10-centing so well that they actually reach out to you first. Or you're 10-centing so well that when your name comes through their inbox, it's recognizable. It's like, I've seen Ash all over our stories. And they're obviously already love our brand. And this isn't a copy and paste AI crap that I'm just going to look and just send off to junk. This is like an actual person that already supports us. So the law of reciprocity is going to kick in. So just a little, not anything monumental, but the 10-cent rule can really get people through the door in some really great ways and make your outreach land a lot.
So good. Ash, hopefully that's super helpful. Owen, I'm going to bring you back up real quick. I want you to break down your social funnel because what you just put in the chat is bonkers that people aren't doing things like this. We are constantly talking about these strategies, guys. Owen when we tell Owen to do something, we work with him on it, he just does it. And then he ends up killing it. So it's super refreshing. Owen, you just said in the chat, I want everyone to hear this because this is crazy. You said you're spending $5 a day on ads, right? And your $5 a day on ads, so that's like $150 per month on ads. And you just said it turned into $44,000 worth of revenue just last month from booking 3 clients from those ads. Is that true? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like 44,000 like all at the same time, but we signed 3 clients for 3 months each.
Yeah, which is retainers. $44,000 worth of booked signed contracts, which is crazy and amazing. And it's because you've got a funnel that's really working. So Owen, break down just real quick, like what do your ads look like? What are some of the things you're hooking people with in your ads? What's the prompt for them to connect with you? And then do they go straight to a sales call? Are you giving them some type of free offer? Break that down so people can understand actually what your customer value journey looks like.
For sure. Well, it's kind of funny. So like one thing I realized, this was like after I did the mastermind, but like that breakdown that I did for the email, it's like very, very similar for ads. It's like, okay, you need to hook them. You need to touch on a problem and make it feel like you're, the problem has to be one that like a lot of people feel. So they feel like you're talking directly to them. Then position like your service as the solution, then give them a case study and a call to action. So like, it's the same exact thing. So if you screenshotted that email during my presentation, like it's the same kind of thing for ads. So we'll do like different kind of videos, right? Like top of the funnel is really awareness, right? So that's less like salesy, less like book me, more, I've even run ads that are literally just like some of our work and that's all. With a link to our Instagram or just to our website. Then like middle funnel is more like bringing just free value or like education, a little bit like more salesy, like a case study is great for like,
Totally.
That'll be linked like to our website or, sometimes I'll link to like just straight to my calendar. And then bottom funnel is like super salesy. You can do more case studies. You can do like transformation before and after, like, hey, like we met with this client, they had, if you're doing, social media management, like they had this amount of followers, this amount of engagement. Now, like they worked with us and we got them this amount of engagement and then like link to your calendar or something like that. So yeah. And the walk and talk videos do really well. Like Joey was saying, like literally just walk in, like talking, strong hook, touch on the problem, solution, case study, call to action. Yeah.
I remember shooting that first ad with you. So Owen's journey into ads, would it be fair to say, started at the Inner Circle last year? So we have for a lot of you guys won't know this, but everyone that goes through the mastermind, once they hit 6 figures, we do have this retreat that we run once a year called the Inner Circle, and it's for people to apply to come to. It's only for grads of Mastermind, and we only do about 8 to 10 businesses per year, but it's like a 4-day, all-intensive, awesome experience that we do down in the desert often of California. And we do a bunch of fun stuff. We do a lot of business development while we're there. And Owen, basically, we built out a whole like paid funnel and social funnel with Owen there. And then we went to Joshua Tree for the day and hung out. Everyone's shooting content. And Owen started shooting content. What was your first hook? I just remember you were lying on the ground in the desert and you were like, do you remember what you said?
Yeah. So I did. So my first one was with Jared. Shout out to Jared if he's still on the
phone. Shout out Jared.
We did like a walk and talk in Joshua Tree. And then like we linked up with you guys. And it's funny, like I haven't even done anything with this ad yet, but I should. I'm like laying on the ground like I'm like dead. And Joey's recording like he's like a hiker. And he's like, oh my gosh, bro, are you okay? And I like wake up and I'm like, does it feel like what did I say? I'm like,
it's like your content.
Like does it feel like your content's dead and you need to like breathe new life back into your funnel or like something?
So funny. So anyways, you can have fun with it, but guys, Owen is great proof that social funnels work. He's great proof that paid ads, even on a very low spend, like $150 a month, $5 a day, can really make a big difference in your business, which is so cool. So Owen, again, bro, thank you for jumping up and answering the question. Sure. You're the man. Sure. And congrats on the 3 new deals, man. I know we already said congrats because we heard about those earlier, but that was sick. $44,000 of new revenue to the business in 1 month is incredible. So thanks for being here, bro. So, all right, guys, we're going to jump into
a couple more questions coming through. We actually have a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions. Yeah, we're going to try and get through as many of these as we can.
Got a couple quick ones that I saw about the Mastermind that I want to answer really quickly before we get into another like creative business question. One was,
if I am in the personal brand space, meaning like I shoot personal brands, is this for me, or is this kind of only for big, nationwide product type
Great
people?
niche.
Great question. We have, first of all, people from all different types of creative service-based backgrounds. So we've got people absolutely in the personal brand space. We've got people in the smaller, more local brand space, people in the real estate space. We've got people in the wedding space, in the social media management space.
Family and birth photographers.
Family photographers as well. That's what Amber was on the workshop earlier. She might still be on here as well.
Shout out Amber.
One that did the incredible giveaway. But yes, we do. And we actually have some really incredible personal brand photographers that have gone through the mastermind. That we have testimonial stories on our testimonial page, which Joey can drop in the chat right now. Specifically, we've got Victoria up in Canada. She's crushing it as a personal brand photographer, specifically for female entrepreneurs. We have someone named Kelsey from Heart House Creative. So HART House Creative on Instagram, if you want to look her up. She does personal brand. What state are they in again? Kelsey and Gary?
They're in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. And she's absolutely crushing it. She actually launched a monthly kind of program for personal brands. So she's getting retainer clients for personal brand, which is so cool. She's basically like batch doing like 90 days of content in one session for people. It's awesome. So we got a ton of personal brand people. We've got
good question.
It's incredible. So we got a bunch of people like that in there. So great question. There was another question about the mastermind. It was just right above hers. It was,
what name am I looking for here?
I don't remember the name. It's just a question about the mastermind.
Okay, we'll just scroll through some questions. Haley, this is a great question. How do we determine who's a good fit for the mastermind, who is not? Is there anything that we'd be willing to share? Absolutely. So first of all, the biggest thing that Christy and I are looking for is that your business is actually in a position where we know we can help you. We will never, ever tell you it's a good idea if it's not a good idea. We have run this for 6.5 years, 416 grads, and we have never had one person flunk out because they've just been like, oh, this is dumb. This isn't working for me. Literally, not once. And it's because we're so diligent about making sure that the right people are getting in. And it's also because of just the way we've structured it. It is very, very impactful and valuable. So the first thing we look for is just being very honest about, is your business in the right place? So are you set up to grow this year? Are you really wanting to grow this year? Are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to be in community and really be accountable to people, hold other people accountable? Another one is, are you willing to make the time and then take the time? This is for busy people. Everyone's busy, but you've got to be willing to put aside some time to really invest into your systems, into your business. So those are some things we look for. Another thing is also just making sure that we feel like your offers are going to work. There is some people that come to us and they're like, hey, this is what I want to do. And it's just like, we don't see a ton of success in the creative industry doing that. So here's what we'd recommend you do. But if you're not willing to take our advice and switch into some of these other industries or niches or offers, then we wouldn't feel comfortable pushing you into that if you don't want to do it. So there's lots of stuff like that. But we look for people that are super communal. They want to be in community. They want to be accountable to people. They want to be very stoked about their business. This is not a struggle club. You might feel like you're struggling, but we are going to fix that. This is not the business sucks, it's hard. This is like high energy. We're moving, we're making things happen. So we're looking for people that really fit that, so the community just feels super, super awesome. So Haley, that's a really, really good question.
We have another question saying, I want to learn how to create meta ads that convert. Will the mastermind course teach that? Yes, this mastermind does teach paid ads. It teaches it from what your structure of your ads should be so that they do actually convert, because the content of what you use for ads is the most important part of running ads. A lot has changed in Meta. We run our own ads for our own businesses, and we know the insides and out. We'll teach you not only the content side of it, but we also teach you the back end, walking you through step by step of how to actually launch and run ads inside of Meta, not just boosting, but actually having all of the full control with that, as well as ad strategy. How do you actually create different campaigns and different ad sets in order to produce the best results for you? That's something we're actually really passionate about. Now, you don't have to run paid ads in order to have a successful creative business, and we'll never tell you that, even inside of the mastermind. But for the people that want to learn how to run paid ads for themselves, absolutely, we teach that. And we also think it's important to know how to run paid ads, even if you don't run them for your own businesses, but you're working content for other businesses, to know what's happening inside of that platform will help make you so valuable for potential clients, which is awesome.
Great. We'll do one more mastermind question, then jump into some other questions about growing your business. But Juan says, do I need to be somewhat established already, to take advantage of this? This is a really, really great question. Again, something that we are looking for. We are going to be looking for a quality of work, straight up. Like, you've got to have work that makes you hireable. So as soon as your work makes you hireable, though, it's no longer about your work. It's about your business strategy. So we are not going to focus on cameras, lighting, tech. We are assuming that everyone that's going to be coming into the mastermind, we are picking people that are already very talented. They're needing structure and support on the business side. So do you need to be somewhat established creatively? Yes. Do you need to be the best creative in the world? No. I'm not the best. She's not the best, right? No. You just need to be established. You need to be good enough to be hired, and we can help you do the rest, which is really,
so if you're like in a 9-to-5, or you're like, I, have a completely different job and this is something I'm trying to start, but I'm not sure where to start. Yes, this is totally fine to do. Another quick question I want to answer right before we jump into something else. Someone said, what is an example of a week inside of the mastermind? Like time commit, all that kind of stuff. So we built this for busy business owners. We know that you're busy running businesses and all that kind of stuff. We always leave room for implementation. However, it is like a 6-week sprint. We do say, hey, carve out time so that you can do this. Every Monday, modules are released. So Monday, we drip the content of that week to you. We all go through the same content week by week. It's not like, hey, here's all the course content for the entire time. Now just go through it at whatever pace. No, we're all going through the same set of modules every single week because, again, we're focusing on each one of those 6 pillars. So Monday, modules get dropped, which is awesome. Then Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. PST are our group calls. So that's where Joey and I are literally jumping on. And it's not like this, where it's like, we're just talking at you guys right now. It's a normal Zoom call. Yeah. All of our faces are showing. Everyone can unmute themselves, and we workshop for an incredible hour and a half, if not way longer than that sometimes. Every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. PST during the 6 weeks, we jump on a call and we're going to workshop what we're working on that week. It's incredible. There's breakout rooms. It's super interactive, which is awesome. So that is the only meeting per week that time wise, that is the specific time that you need to be there. If you need to miss 1 or maybe 2, that's fine. They're recorded. However, if you're going to miss more than that, we say, honestly, just wait for the next one when you're more available. And then we have all the stuff running every single day, 24/7, Instagram group chats, the community platform, all of that kind of stuff running at all times. You're also going to be put into an accountability group that you are going to meet with once every single week throughout the 6 weeks, if not more than that, if you guys want. And then Joey and I jump on a pod strategy call with you guys during the first week to really get you set off with a whole vision thing. It's awesome. Yeah. But that's kind of what a week looks like. So yeah.
Hey, Jacob Kearns, if you're still here, I'm going to prompt you to ask this question. I just clicked a button. I don't know if it's going to invite you up. If it does,
I think you have to invite him.
Okay.
It says we're going to answer it.
Okay, sweet. So Jacob, this is a really good question. Jacob's question says, I find pricing to be hard. Businesses' budgets vary so much, and sometimes cheaper work is better than no work. Do you still think it's better to ask a client's budget and work off that, or do you shoot from the hip and hope you've priced yourself in a range that they can actually do? So you're really asking the question of do I give a number, or do I try and ask them for their budget? Throw me in the chat if you feel like you've got this question as well. This is a really, really age-old pricing question. Yeah, excited to chat about this. If anyone wants to chat about it. All right. We got one person. Okay, cool. So there should be more you guys want to chat about. There's still 80 of you guys on here. So, okay. So do you pitch a budget, or do you wait and see what their budget is? So my answer on this, you often hear people say, whoever gives the first number first loses, right? People talk about that all the time. I do not subscribe to that. Personally, I am incredibly forward and bullish on the idea that someone who is confident in their pricing is confident in their value. And when you're confident in your value, you look like you can be trusted. People can trust your process. Therefore, you're more desirable to hire. So when I go into conversations about pricing, I never just go to somebody and say, hey, so what's your budget? And they go, well, it depends. What's your thing? I would never respond back to them and say, well, I need to know your budget first. If someone says, hey, what's it look like to work with you? I say, absolutely. We can do a variety of things at different scales. Often businesses in your niche or in your business size, if they're wanting these services, we typically do these things for them. And those budgets can range anywhere between $3,500 per shoot all the way up to $25,000 per shoot. So I need a little bit more information from you and a little bit more discovery on what exactly you're looking for in terms of outcomes and deliverables. And then I'm sure we can build out a really clear and solid pricing framework for you. So here's my first question, and then I would ask a question to them. So I am totally a fan of leading with the idea that I'm confident in my pricing, I'm confident in my value, and that I like to give people an ideal budget range. Like, hey, we typically land anywhere between here and here. And that range can be very big. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to have a client say to you, what's your price on this? And you go, well, it depends on your budget. I understand what you're trying to do, but it's a stupid response because it makes you look like you're not confident in what you're doing. And it also makes it look like you don't do this for other clients. Right? Versus saying, oh yeah, we did that last week. That deal looked like this. It was $6,500, but that was for these deliverables. I'd love to chat about what outcomes you're looking for. Therefore, I can tell you what deliverables will be best, and then we can create a pricing framework that's going to work for you. So here's my first question. And then you take control of the conversation. You start asking them questions. So that's my answer on that. That's a very, very common pain point for a lot of creatives. Throw me in the chat if that was helpful for you. I want to know if that makes sense. Or do you have any follow-up off of that? But just throw me in the chat. Awesome, Alexis. I'm glad that was helpful. Super cool. Cool.
All right, we got a next question from Kieran. He says, when sending off cold emails and DMs, are you more likely to lead off with a general introduction email with who you are, etc., or are you creating a pitch deck?
It's a great question, man. You should check out the pitching masterclass. It's going to answer all this for you, but I'll give you some game right here. So when you are sending off cold emails or cold pitches, the worst thing you can do is only talk about yourself, okay? But you don't want to go the other way where you don't introduce yourself at all to the point where it feels like they're getting an email from someone that is just totally cold. They don't even know who you are. So the happy medium here is you have to make sure your email is about the client. Your pitch is not about you, it's about the client. This is where a lot of creatives go wrong. They make a pitch deck or they write a pitch email and all they do is talk about themselves. Owen showed you an example earlier today of his email where he said, hey, I'm Owen, I run Native Release. I think I and us would be a good fit for you. He started by going us, or me. And then he's now told you, now he leads with a personalized intro. So every pitch I send, the first couple sentences, 2 or 3 sentences, are me talking about their brand and what I value about their brand or what I love. Here's a product I love. And what that does is it allows me to create a personal connection with their company or their organization. And then from there, I might do a little intro like, oh, by the way, my name is Joey. I run a content agency called Spears Collective. And I noticed this, and there I get into the problem, okay? So very small info about me, but I make sure I do give them very clear answers like, who am I? Where am I from? What do? I run a content agency, right? So it's important you do introduce yourself, but it's important you do not over-introduce yourself to the point where the email is now about you, because that is not how you create a good pitch. So
and the question of, okay, do you like go super strong in of like, do I send a full PDF and do I actually send that whole thing over on the very first intro email, or do I wait and it's more of like a generic and like it's more not generic, but it's more just like, let's get to know each other.
Simple.
You can do both.
Yeah.
There's not a right or wrong way to do this. However, if you are pitching a time sensitive offer, so if you're pitching an idea, let's say you're like pitching a trip, you're going somewhere and you want to take their product with you and you want to get paid to shoot it while you're there. You've got this great idea and it's time sensitive. I would send over a deck. I would send something that would be interesting for them to be able to look through because they're probably already going to ask for that, which is big. But if you can get in their DMs in order to get the email first. So if you can get into their DMs, send them a video and be like, hey, have this really awesome, trip going up to Switzerland pretty soon to like hike in the Alps. And I want to, I could absolutely love to create some paid content for your library. I see you're already running some videos, blah, 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 blah. Can I send over a pitch deck for you? What would be a great email? Yeah. Then they send that back and then I would send it over. So if you can have a little small touch point, I think it is helpful than just like a straight on cold, like here's a huge PDF. Yeah. However, you absolutely can pitch that way. And there is a lot of success in that. And it also shows that you're really prepared. So I would say like sometimes those do better than just like a very generic, more just like, let's get to know each other email. Yeah. Especially if there's no like time sensitivity to it. Yeah. So 100%. I think that's great.
I love it. This is a great question from Katie. Katie, if you're still here, throw me in the chat. Would love to know if you're still rocking with us, but we'll answer it anyways. Katie said, hey, I'm new. I just quit my 9-to-5 and I'm diving full on into social media management. Congratulations, Katie. That's awesome. Great decision. I'm ready to start building out my Instagram and my social funnels. And what you've said, though, is there any advice if I'm dealing with imposter syndrome on how I can start posting like I have all the answers. You know, I'm new. I don't have all the answers. And you said, P.S. my focus is photographers looking to help build blogs. That's awesome. That is such a great niche right there. But so you're asking the question, how do I show up on socials and be an authority to educate my clients when I don't feel like an authority? Well, the answer to that is you got to become an authority. So you have to go learn things, go and learn and make yourself hireable. Like, very honestly, you've got to become hireable. So if you don't feel hireable, go force yourself to become hireable. All it takes is, like, especially in this niche, it could take 3 to 5 hours. You Google, ChatGPT, YouTube, podcast, learning things about how to be a better social media manager. Easily, I guarantee you'll learn a couple things that you can start talking about on social. And here's the deal. If you're focusing all your time on learning this stuff, I guarantee you know way more about it than the people that you are trying to help. So that's important. Do not wait to be fully ready. Like, you got to start doing this and becoming an authority on these topics and posting, getting your social funnel up and running before you're fully ready, because you'll never be fully ready. But it is important to do a little bit of research.
I also think that you know more than you think you know. And this applies to every single person on this call. It's like, I have an imposter syndrome. I don't know everything. And if I put out there that I know, it's going to be so embarrassing because I feel like I don't know. You probably already do know. But a great way to do this, content style to do this, if you're like, I don't have the clients to show for it, so I don't have case studies. Like, what do I do about this? How do I even talk about this when I don't have a huge following or something like that? What I recommend doing, and this is a great way to show your expertise as a case study, not a client testimonial, is go to people who are crushing it. Meaning, go to, I know you said, like, I want to target, serving other photographers and, like, getting their businesses up and running and all that kind of stuff. Go to some photographers that are absolutely crushing it on socials and do a green screen audit and be like, look at what Katie is doing in Alabama as a wedding photographer. She just hit 50,000 followers. And you know how she did it? It's because she's doing this, this, and this. And you can literally roll through and do these little audits of case studies of what other people are doing, and then pitch the fact that you can emulate that content plan in their stuff. Same goes for brand stuff. If you guys are like, hey, I don't have a ton of brand product stuff, but I want to start shooting for brand products, or I want to start shooting for real estate agents, or I want to start running socials for this type of industry that I don't have case studies for, just go, or past clients for, use case studies. They don't have to be your clients. Don't say they're your clients, but just talk about, hey, this is the plan. This is what they've done. Let's dissect the good of what they're doing. Here's the plan that I can emulate and give you the same plan and execute on that plan for you. People want implementation. They don't need, Katie, they don't need you to have a ton of followers. They need you to have a plan to get them a ton of followers.
Yes.
So that is what you want to talk about.
Yes.
You probably already know how to do it.
Yes. Hey, Liam, if you're still on this, throw a little me in the chat. Would love to know you're here as we answer this, but we'll answer it anyway. Liam says, how do you find out how much value you are bringing to a brand and what number you can charge based on the brand location? And then Anne-Marie also asked us basically the same question right down below. Like, how do you just find out, like, the business's sales info so you can price for your value? So this is a really good question. A lot of it is speculative. So what you want to do is you're going to look at the brand. You're going to ask yourself the question, are they a small, a medium, or a big brand in their industry? Okay. Are their products cheap? Are they medium price? Are they expensive? Do I see their products nowhere? Do I see them some places? Do I see them everywhere? Asking yourself these questions is really going to give you some context on, like, are they pushing a lot of product? Is the product very expensive? So very honestly, you can just take a look at that, right? Go to their website, see all the dealers they're in, right? You can often say, like, find a dealer on someone's website. You can see if they're in like 400 locations across your country or your state versus a brand that's like, no, we only sell direct to consumer and we've got 20 reviews, right? This is going to be obvious. It's going to show you the difference between these scales. And just to jump back to that question, where was it? Right here, just so I can talk about this. Okay, Liam, for a little bit more context. So Liam, you said that now once you know the value of their products, the value of how much they're selling, you can get an idea on, like, how much they're actually pushing. You now say, how do you actually find out how you're contributing to that? So here's how I look at it. I always look at the ROI from a negative perspective at first, okay? So imagine a company, I'll take Yeti as an example, okay? So when I worked with Yeti was launching their products in Canada and launching stores, or not stores, but retailers in Canada for the first time, launching Yeti Canada. So They looked at that opportunity as, wow, we're going to get access to a country and retailers that serves at the time probably like 35 to 40 million people across the country. This is awesome for them, right? That's a huge business expansion. They came to me through a pitching process and said, hey, we really want to use your images. You're going to shoot a campaign for us that's going to help us launch these products in all of our Canadian retailers. So these are going to go to print. These are going to go all over social, email, web. So I'm thinking, well, this is awesome. They're going to use my work to launch in a country. What could go wrong here? Well, if they hire a photographer that sucks, that doesn't deliver on time, that positions the products wrong, they're either going to have to reshoot the project, which is going to cost them more money, or they're going to have to just put out work that kind of sucks, and they might not get the results they're looking for inside of their marketing campaigns, okay? What could go wrong? Well, when you look at Yeti, I literally went onto Yeti's website. They're a publicly traded company. I remember doing this. I looked at their quarterly report from the last quarter, and I'm making up numbers here, but it was something like they wanted like a 20% growth by 2 or 3 quarters from now on like $200 something million in cooler sales. So I'm going, oh my gosh, this is huge. It's a lot of growth they're going for. My images are going to be a catalyst to that to help bring value to the marketing campaign. So when I threw a number at them, and honestly, this was years ago, so like $5,000 today, like Christy and I's campaigns, like we wouldn't even really shoot anything for $5,000 normally. We're more like the 7,500 to 8,000 range, typically for most of our campaigns at a low level now. That campaign was only $5,000 for 10 images. And I would like to think I did a really good job. They ended up giving me awesome feedback about it. But I looked at that. So I did a lot of digging on like, what are they trying to accomplish? How am I bringing value to this? What could go wrong if these images suck? And what happens is when you look at the negative, it often exposes the positive. If what goes well, which that is where you find ROI. So long-winded answer, but hopefully it helps you. That is I say this all the time, guys, pricing for value is a muscle. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. It's very comfortable for me now because I've been doing it for a decade plus, but it might feel a little bit uncomfortable for you in the first little bit here, and that's okay. But it's going to be the better option, and you're going to get much better at it as time goes on.
Sophie has a question. She says, hey, if I have an existing personal photography page, but I'm looking to jump into weddings, is it best to start a new account to be specific to weddings or post on my current page while also mixing my other photography and personal creative work? Okay, so here's what I would say, Sophie. First of all, not a right or wrong answer. So if you decide to split it, great. If you decide to keep it together, great. But you just have to be strategic about how you do it. If you are going to keep it together, I would say there's always going to be a front runner brand. There's always going to be a back end brand. Okay. So front facing brand, that is going to be the wedding one because most of your inquiries are going to be coming from your socials. Okay. So brides, grooms, couples, all of these people are going to be trying to find you, right? They're going to be trying to find you on Instagram. Whereas, which you didn't say the product side, but let's say like this was a question also about like, I want to shoot product and I want to shoot weddings. Okay. Most product brands, especially if they're larger brands, are usually not going to like happen upon your socials, right? It just normally doesn't happen unless you're doing a really great strategic like stuff with ads and you've got a high follower count and everything like that. Then I would say you could make the product front runner and then make weddings back burner. I would say for the majority of people, having weddings be really front facing is very, very important because again, most of that is inbound inquiries. Most product and brand is outbound, pitching, all of that kind of stuff. So for me, my Instagram for the longest time, even though I was working with both weddings and brands, no one knew that I actually worked with brands because it was almost this like little invisible brand happening behind the scenes, but I was posting all of the couples content and I was highlighting brands occasionally, which made the wedding people go, oh, that's cool. She shot for LaCroix or she shot for this company or she shot for Beholden, Anthropology, blah, blah, blah. It was like little ads. Whereas if you are majority trying to work with brands and other things like that, sometimes throwing weddings in there really muddies the water. So if you're trying to do both equally, I would say separate them. If you've got one that's a bigger deal and one that's more like you're pitching for it, then you can keep them the same. So I hope that helps. And especially if it's like you're doing personal creative work, I would say you probably could keep them together. Just make sure that 75% of the content is for couples. Okay. So that's my answer on
That's
that
great.
one.
Bethany, this is also a great question. Do most larger brands typically use in-house creative teams, and do they only outsource when they're needing extra help? So great question. The answer to that is probably like, yeah, pretty much. A lot of large brands have in-house creative teams, but a lot of those in-house creative teams have limits.
Absolutely.
And so there's a couple different types of limits here. And if you're looking to pitch, you can actually use this as some language in your pitch, but the different types of limits are this. One, a capacity limit. So the brand's need for content outweighs the capacity their in-house team has, which is very, very common, right? So, hey, our in-house team does not have enough time this month to create all the different content that we are needing to actually create. Therefore, we need to outsource some stuff. So capacity limit's number one. The second thing is a creativity limit, okay? So creativity limit this is also very common. We experience this all the time where brands will come to us and say, hey, our in-house team can do this, but they can't do this. Can we hire you guys to do that? Okay. Very, very normal. So capacity limit, creativity limit. And the third one that's also very normal is a location limit, or I should call maybe like a resource limit. Okay. So maybe they have enough capacity, they have enough time, but they have a resource limit. So example, Christy and I, 3 weeks ago, we were in Hawaii shooting a launch campaign for a new product. And we got flown there by a brand because they were like, we are on the east coast of Canada, east coast of the US right now. It's kind of cold. It's not tropical. We need someone to be there. We live in California. We shoot for this brand all the time. We're like, we can go to Hawaii, right? We were able to get a resource in terms of the location. They weren't able to get as easy as we were. Therefore, they hired us to do it, okay? Another example of resources might be a skill you have, a creative style you have, something you have access to, a location, maybe mountains, maybe desert, maybe beach, that you have access to that they just don't have access to. So creativity limits, capacity limits, and then resourceful limits. So those are the 3 reasons why people hire things out. And it's very important that you do not get discouraged when a brand has an in-house team. So you pitch this way. You either see a hole, meaning they're not doing something. Owen talked to us earlier. Hey, we don't see enough video in your ad strategy. Hey, we don't see enough carousels or photos or videos or reels inside of your content strategy. We don't see enough content in your email marketing. We would love to solve that for you, right? See you, John. We'd love to solve that for you, okay? So you got to pitch that. That's like a capacity and a creativity hole you're seeing that you're pitching to fill. Versus, hey, you guys are killing it right now. You're putting out so much good content, but I know it might not be easy to keep up with that. I would love to aid you guys or contribute to your content calendar for the month. Here's a couple ideas I'd have. I'd love to help take some weight off of your in-house team. That's a capacity pitch, right? Or maybe you have a resourceful pitch. It's like, hey, I know you guys are doing this. You're killing it with that. Here's an idea we see for this product or this service that I don't know if you guys have access to, but I have access to it. Would love to know if you want to take me up on this idea. Here's some more info about the idea. That is that resource pitch, okay? So Bethany, hopefully that's super helpful. But yeah, you can pitch all 3 of those in 3 different ways.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ramon, you said, hey guys, talking about imposter syndrome, pricing and organization. When do you know if you're ready for the big leagues and the big bucks? I'm a photographer for more than 15 years. I did a few 10K months, 6 digits, and I have a few big multinational recurring clients over the years. But overall, I've been struggling to make ends meet. I'm also 40 plus, single dad with 2 kids. You said CM still for me, which is probably the Creative Rise Mastermind.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we don't have to meet a couple things. We allow parents. All right, we got parents.
Lots of parents every time.
We've got kids on some of our calls. It's awesome. We love that. So absolutely, parent-wise, if you are a parent, this is for you. It is built for people who are busy. You said I'm 40 plus. Absolutely. That's awesome. Let's do it. We've got absolutely people that are 40 plus. And
age has nothing to do with scale.
Age is an asset. We actually had a guy come from the film and TV industry, and he was in that industry for like 20 plus years. And he was moving to Montana because he was working actually on the set of
Yellowstone. He's building Yellowstone. Cool.
He built Yellowstone sets, and then that was coming to an end. And he's like, I want to work for myself. I want to stop being just on the clock for everybody else. And so he came into our mastermind and built an incredible business. So absolutely, this is built for people just like you. And it's really fun. It's really fun also for you to probably be around some young bucks who've got tons of energy and a ton of time to help you process things in an even faster way, which is really fun. But imposter syndrome, it is really, to me, this is my favorite thing that I have learned over the years, because as someone who is not naturally born confident, you can borrow confidence.
Yes.
You can borrow
Oh, yeah.
confidence from other people. That is the best way to get things done, because if you're waiting to feel confident, this goes for everybody on this call, if you're just waiting to feel confident before you act, you will stay in the same spot year after year,
Yeah.
waiting for something, waiting for a train that will never arrive. You have to get on the train with a bunch of other people and go, you know what? I see you, Jake, you're going for it. And I don't know, I'm going for like J names. Jackie, you're also going for it. Let's do it together. Let's send the pitches together this week because we've got this and we have a plan, and let's do it. Borrow confidence from other people so you can start making new moves in your business. That's my biggest tip for when it comes to imposter syndrome. You'll never not feel like an imposter until you've probably done something 60 times. So you might as well just borrow confidence from other people and just do it.
Yeah, so
Which
good.
is huge.
Hopefully that's helpful. That's a great answer. And Amber is confirming that, yeah, kids are always welcome on calls.
Always welcome.
I love it.
Always welcome.
Kobe, this is a great question. My dilemma is that I shoot it all. Music artists, promotion, concerts, cars, products, weddings, sports, events, travel, you name it. Photo and video, I love it all. My question is it possible to scale bigger numbers with such a wide variety of categories that I cover? Is it possible to market well as the guy who can do it all? So this is a very common question, Kobe. I love this question. If you're still here, hopefully this is very helpful for you. So my personal opinion on this, from my own experience in my own business and from getting to obviously see the industry over the last decade plus, and then also getting to help guide a lot of creatives as they've done this, is you will have the most scale leverage when you become known for something. So we talked about this earlier on. When you become known for a offer, known for working with an ideal client, known for a solution, the reason why that helps you scale is because, one, you can repeat your offer, which means you get really good at it. You get really good at solving the problem. You get really good at shooting the thing you're shooting, editing the thing you're editing, right? So repetition creates mastery. It also creates mastery with your marketing. Scale comes from really great marketing. So if you are known for a singular offer or a smaller number of offers, a more consistent level of offers, you can really master your marketing. You can master how you sell it. You can master your referral system, right? And most importantly, people can speak on your behalf. Oh, that's Kobe. Yeah, he's the wedding guy. Oh, that's Kobe. You know, he's the brand guy. He's the social media content guy. When you become known for something, infinitely your world becomes more scalable. So can you do it all and grow your business? Absolutely. Will it feel like a massive hustle that doesn't have a ton of leverage? Probably. And I'm speaking from experience. So hopefully that's helpful, Kobe.
Yeah.
That's a really good question though.
Yeah. I have a question for everybody listening. So pull up the chat.
I like that. Cool.
What time is it currently in your time zone? All of you, almost 60 people who are still here with us. What time is it? We got 9:45, 8:45. Oh no, we have military time. I can't do it.
1:45.
We got, wow, people up late. I like this.
Hey,
You guys are the legends.
Throw what country you're from in the chat too.
Yes, please throw that in. I want to see who are the MVPs out here. Oh, a bunch of Canadians. Let's go.
Canada.
Australia. Love it. San Diego.
Kobe.
Awesome.
9:45 in Minnesota, baby. Australia.
Hawaii. Amazing. New Zealand. Let's
awesome. Sophie, which part of New Zealand are you in? Like I said earlier, we love New Zealand. We also love Australia. And I'm from Canada originally. So there you go. I'm Canadian. 100% Canadian.
Well, US, but Joey.
Love it.
Canadian.
Utah.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Love it. Super cool. Jasmine, NorCal. Love NorCal. That's us too. How was y'all's Hawaii shoot? If we just get
it was
so good. It might have been one of our favorite shoots.
We literally hit
last year.
The week before there was like a statewide flood in Hawaii, like a massive, which I know some of you guys are from Hawaii and you experienced crazy rain. We were the week before, so we had actually like perfect weather, amazing models. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Right in between the storms.
It was so good. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. We always love going to Hawaii.
It was awesome. We actually did a new thing on that shoot. We normally do when I first started working with them like a million years ago. I've been working with them now for like 10 plus years. I only did photo, and then I added on reels, like professionally shot reels. When Joey and I got married, I was like, hey, come loop in. Let's get these videos for these people. So we started shooting professional reels for them. Then we actually started doing UGC content for them in addition to the professional reels. And then now we just actually added in designed carousels. So we're like beefing up these campaigns over the years, and it's been really, really cool. So
yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for asking. That's super cool.
great.
Okay, here's what I want to do. Is there any question that's like burning? That you're like, please answer this question before we wrap up. It's 7:47. Whether you've got a question about the mastermind, we are a complete open book. We want to answer anything, very transparent about all that stuff. If you have a question about your business, our business, feel free to ask it. Throw it just in the chat. We're down to like 60 people, so throw it in the chat. Still a lot of you guys, which is awesome. It's been almost...
It's been 3+ hours.
Yeah, 3+ hours, which is so epic. So thanks for hanging out. But throw it in the chat. Okay, Ryan, this is a really cool project. So Ryan says, say you have many completed, polished projects that are many niches and are not yet publicly available and visible. How do you determine order of operations of releasing work in media online for public view with intention to present the work not at random and outside of the portfolio? Ryan, it kind of just sounds like you're like, I got a bunch of good stuff to show. I feel like I need a good rollout strategy for that. If that's your question, just throw a little yes in the chat, but I'll start answering as if that's your question. So Ryan, I think what I would do is I would look towards what do you want to be creating more of in this next year in 2026? What is like the niche, the offer that you really want to be doing? And so I would ask yourself, what in my portfolio that I have not yet released really resonates with that, shows process, backs up skill, quality, and how do I just build some really good content around that? And I would start with those things. It's obviously a very simple thing. Here's the other thing I would say, though, to add on to that. I would also look for a little like needles in the haystack. What were projects that you could also release as portfolio that would have maybe not as much like, whoa, wow factor to them, but there's something about those projects that are going to be really useful in your sales process. So this is what I mean by that. Can you release a project that maybe had a ton of pre-production work? And while you release the content of the project, you can also showcase in your portfolio maybe some screenshots or a video walkthrough of like your milling mood boards and how you structured all the pre-release or all the pre-production for the content. Like, how can you also release portfolio in a wise way that backs up your processes and your rhythms to actually create stuff? Because portfolio is obviously great to showcase beauty and to showcase skill, but if you can also release projects that also showcase talent from a process perspective, from a systems perspective, sometimes that's even more valuable to a sales process than just like good looking images or videos. So that's what I would think about. Hopefully that's helpful, Ryan. Thanks for being here, man.
I'm laughing about this question. Really curious about the strategy. Is there one to keep us responding in the chat? Is there an emotional hook happening? No, we're just people, so it's really weird to just talk to a screen.
That is a good question. Yeah.
It's really weird to just talk to a screen, and we like knowing that there's real people and real humans on the other side. So nothing weird about it. Just like we love it, and we also hate feeling like we're talking like down to anybody or like from a tower perspective.
We want us to feel like there's some engagement
because we possibly can. Because we're on a bunch of faces, which is a big deal.
And Alexis, I mean, I hope us just constantly trying to get you guys to engage in the chat has also been helpful for you, because I think it
keeps you engaged.
It keeps you engaged. This means hopefully you're getting value. So
Question I want to answer: what's the best advice you've ever received? That is so open-ended, Sophie. I love it.
Question.
I would say, and this is not really like a strategic values, like something like the tool or whatever. And it's a advice my dad gave me, actually, and it is the most important thing you can do for yourself for your future is to stay encouraged.
Great.
So if you are discouraged, if you've got all the tools but you're discouraged, you won't use them. If you have none of the tools but you're encouraged, you'll probably go out there and do something, right? So staying encouraged is the most important thing about you, and it's the most important thing personally and also in your business.
Yeah.
Do you have advice?
I don't know if I'd say this is the best thing I've ever heard, but this is the one that comes to mind that really, really impacted my life. Very, very long story short, I was a very troubled kid growing up. Lots of ADHD, learning disabilities, a processing disorder, if you can believe it. So I really struggled in school, and I had a really difficult time through school. I was like the bad kid. I was getting kicked out of class and stuff. And then I had a teacher in 8th grade look at me and say, nothing that you are experiencing that you feel like is challenges in your lives are walls. They're just hurdles, and I'm going to teach you how to run and jump. So a couple of things about that. One, it was incredible for me as a young guy to see someone believe in me that much when they didn't have to. Two, it really gave myself realization that I have agency over my life and my situations. And if I don't feel I'm good at something, if I feel like there's friction in something, if I don't feel like I'm understanding of something or something's frustrating to me, which might be you and how you feel about your business strategy right now, it's not a wall. It's just a hurdle. And you just have to learn how to run and jump and you can get over it. So
Yeah.
that was super life-changing for me. Shout out to Mr. Norris, my grade 8 teacher. Dude's a legend.
Cole and Alex, what's your favorite offer right now to take someone from 0 to 10K months in the brand photo space? Oh, there are so many
good ones
great
right now.
offers. There's a few offers we absolutely love. One offer that I particularly love is the pin post offer. Now, this is a one-off. It's not a recurring revenue model, but there are a ton of other offers for that. But I love the pin post model because I just feel like business owners, it's so easy for them to digest that and go, ooh, I can see how that's going to continually give me value. And it's not just going to be like post once and then it's gone 24 hours later. So what that looks like is you building out 3 pin posts. We actually have a whole strategy around this. Pin post, you get it actually as a bonus course if you get accepted during the early access part of the mastermind. But basically building out 3 pin posts that live at the top of their profile that basically answer all the questions that a new client would need in order to make a decision of wanting to book with them. So it basically sells for them on autopilot. It stays pinned at the top. You do this incredible brand discovery process with them. It's a great intro offer to get someone through the door with you to then go on and pitch them for monthly content. Great way. I would say that's like one of my favorite offers right now is the pin post. Do you have an offer that you are particularly loving?
I was going to say it's probably a mix of a couple. I think when you service stack in the brand photo and video space, it's really great. So example, hook them, get the relationship started with like something like a pin post offer, and then roll that into a monthly retainer where you're helping fill their social content calendar every month. So you're shooting 6 reels, 15 images a month. You're meeting up every month to do a shoot. You're doing the strategy for that shoot, coming up with what the reels are, maybe even scripting them. You're getting everything from the production, like you're handling all that. So a client can really just put it all in your hands. You've now got their pin posts live. Now every single month you've rolled them over into a recurring model where you're helping fill their content calendars every single month. That is really, really good. Another offer that can match with that, this is what Owen is killing it with right now, is focusing on the paid side of working with brands. So a lot of brands, especially product brands, they put money into their organic socials for sure, but they put way more money into the content and the distribution of their paid advertising on social. So a lot of brands survive on running paid ads and selling their products. So a lot of creatives are not pitching brands to be like, hey, let me help you with your paid ads. I just looked at your paid ads library. You're missing this, this, and this, or I see this. We should double down on this. Owen is doing an incredible job of that. We talked about that. He's gone all in on that. And his whole business is basically built around that offer now. So this is a really good one to scale to 10K per month. What this looks like is when you run ads as a business, after your audience that your ads are kind of getting to and delivering to have seen the ad a bunch, they start to get what we call ad fatigue, which is where a consumer has seen an ad a certain amount of times where they just start to register it as something they want to skip. They're getting ad fatigue, which means your prices on your advertising costs go up to acquire a sale or to acquire a lead, to acquire web traffic. And so your pitch, Cole and Alex, can be, hey, I want to help your business avoid ad fatigue and really make sure every single month you've got fresh, super solid ad creative going out so that your ad costs drive down, go lower, and it's cheaper for you to acquire new customers. Great offer, okay?
Yeah.
So this is super, super good. Again, when you start mixing these, right? You mix this like a pin post offer with a content retainer for every month, and then you get doing their paid ads on retainer. I mean, this is all really good stuff. Brooke, great question. What is a general pricing range for pin posts? It depends on your skill level in terms of the strategic side of it, how good you are at scripting them. It also depends on the business. Like, again, how high leverage is the business? Is it high ticket?
There can be pin posts that are a bit more like you could do iPhone and it could be a little less intensive for them and things like that. So I feel like it could range anywhere, but they are, if you're actually utilizing the strategy, it is good work and it's very valuable for a client. So I would not cheap out on the pin posts. So I would say you could range like from the low, I would say like $1,500 to like, you could get that thing all
10 grand for the 3 videos for sure.
Easy.
You put a lot of, because here's the other thing, Brooke, I want you to think about. Guys, this is my word that's getting us a lot of business and helping us in 2026. Content variety, content variation. So it's not just taking a shoot and maximizing it for content where you're trying to get tons of different types of content out of shoot, but it's also coming up with a bunch of different variation on how you use content. So example, if you shoot a pin post offer for someone, you shoot 3 pin posts. Here's the pin post right here. Rip this off. First pin post, you're going to help them script, shoot, and get up on their socials is a why post. Why do they do what they do? Why does their business exist? Why do they work with the clients they work with? Okay. What's their backstory? We call this the origin story. Okay. The origin story. We literally have a course actually with Creative Rise called the Pin Post Offer, where we teach you guys how to build your own pin post that's going to grow your business. But you can take the same frameworks and the scripts in the course and sell it to your clients. It's the easiest way to do this. Okay. Rip it off. You can go to creativerise.com/shop and you can find that right there. It's so worth it. But first one is an origin story. Okay. Origin story post. The second pin post you're going to make is a what we do post. It's a simple, like, here's all the things we do as a business or as a service provider to our ideal client. So it's who's my ideal client? What do we do? The third pin post you're going to help a client make is a testimonial/case study post. Okay. So depending on how you make these, I would encourage you to shoot them all, make them all in a format that can be posted 9:16, right? Social format. Also make them shot in a format that can also be shot and uploaded to their website in a 16:9 format, right? So when you start to create one piece of content, but that one piece of content has variety across a lot of different channels and formats, that's where it becomes infinitely more valuable, and therefore you can charge more for that. So on the very low end pin post, it could be like $1,500 for all 3 posts, but it could easily also be 10 grand depending on the scale and nature of the business. And if you're giving them variations and formats for web, for social, different social platforms. So you got to think about that stuff. Thinking about things like this is how you really start to scale up your price per client.
Yeah, I'm going to rip through a couple questions real quick. Corey, I know you mentioned creative portraits. I think that if you're going in the like family space or the portraits in that way of like engagement or senior or whatever, absolutely, that's awesome. There is a ton of money there. Amber just responded in the chat. She's an incredible family photographer, maternity birth.
She might be the best family and birth photographer I've ever seen, actually. We tell you this, Amber, all the time, but her work is insane. Go check it out.
It's insane. There's a lot of good money there. If you are talking about like individual creative portraits, I would say shift your thinking to how do I do personal branding for individual businesses? So think like people who own businesses who need personal brand content to increase what they're doing, right? So you got hairstylists, you got maybe like individual fitness instructors, you have personal trainers, you've got all of those types of people. How do you do creative portraits for them to help them grow their business? That's where the money is. You're going to have a hard time spinning your wheels just trying to do these like random one-off creative portraits for just like individuals for fun. Because again, that's going to be more of like a luxury for somebody. It's not necessarily a necessity. And it's hard to quantify the value of that consistently across a large market of people. Whereas if you're doing it for people's businesses, that's where there's a lot of money, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Another question from Alexis. I love this one. What's the one thing that you would say to focus on in the next few weeks and months that you talked about tonight for someone who can't afford to attend a 6-week mastermind, specifically wedding photographer? Build a social funnel, okay?
Leads.
So generate leads. That's going to be your main thing. Don't focus on anything else. Don't like tinker around in different acts specific for business. Go for leads only. So what I want you to do is decide what is the offer that you want to sell more of. Okay, what is the offer you want to sell more of and where do you want to do it? So like, for instance, you can replicate what I did, just do it for yourself in a place you want to do it. Let's say you want to like shoot more, I don't know where you're located, Alexis, but let's say like you want to shoot more in San Diego or something like that. And you maybe live in like Central California. Take a weekend, drive on down, shoot a bunch of content with some couple for free, whatever you want to do, and just take some photos, take some content, all of that kind of stuff. Go back and create a social funnel. Okay, you can run a giveaway just like I did and utilize that content to run a social funnel and just drive those leads towards your business. You can do a giveaway to get a bunch of new people looking at your eyes, all of that. Even if you want to go, I know you said I want to go international, you don't have to go internationally before creating a social funnel around it. Mm-hmm. You could go and create an entire guide online, doing a ton of research of, best 5 places to get married in Cabo, right? And you could actually just go on and find a bunch of really great locations and find out how much they are and details about the venue and all of that kind of stuff and create an awesome guide and then just post a bunch of beachy looking content that you maybe already have or not even, but just copy it a ton, just Mexico, Mexico, Mexico,
and do a social funnel that way. And you can drive people towards that, which is really, really cool. Or maybe, the 5 things you need to know before booking a destination wedding for yourself in 2026, right? Create something of value to give people for free, and that can help generate your leads, which is awesome.
Which is huge. That's a really good question. LN iPhone, you asked the question, what is your favorite content delivery system? We are pretty old school. We use PixieSat for most things, which is great for photo delivery. We do some video delivery inside of that, but you can also use other platforms like, Frame. You can use platforms like Lemly. You can use, there's lots of other stuff, but that's what we use. We don't get too caught up on it. It works for our clients. They're comfortable with it because it's been what we've been doing for a long time. So yeah.
That's great.
Good question.
Well, you guys.
Well, this has been an incredible 3.5 hours, guys. So first thing we just want to say is, one, thanks so much for spending a great amount of time of your Wednesday evening or your Thursday morning if you're down in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, all our Kiwis hanging out. We want to say a big thank you for hanging out. Our promise to you at the beginning of this was we were going to try and be as value forward as possible for you guys. We hope we came through with that promise. So we'd love to know whether you want to shoot us a DM or just throw in the chat what was helpful to you. We'd love to hear about what a good takeaway is for you. But yeah, that was our promise. Hopefully we came through on that. We tried our best in the 3.5 hours we have with us tonight. So a couple things, again, reminder, this replay is going to be going live tomorrow morning, PST. So in like 12 hours from now, this replay will be going live on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on our YouTube channel. So if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast or the YouTube channel, please go do that right now. It's going to be a great way to get you guys a lot of good content in the future. I'll put it in the chat right here, www.creativerise.com/podcast. This is going to take you to all of our platforms. You can subscribe there, get subscribed, get into it there. We've got years of free podcast content that's going to be super helpful for you. But this replay will go live tomorrow morning on there. We're also going to email it out to you, so keep an eye out for your email. You'll be getting an email from us. Reminder about the Mastermind, again, we start March 15th. If you want to jump on into round 15, if you're even remotely interested, send Christy and I a message. We'd love to chat with you about it.
Apply right now. Yeah. That would be the best way to get a hold of us is to go into the application. You can book a 15-minute call with us. It's a no pressure call, which is awesome. But early access expires Saturday at midnight.
Yes.
So early access expires. So the $100 off and the access to $1,000 bonus courses of extra stuff, that all expires Saturday at midnight. So make sure you get your application in ASAP. And we're so excited to see who's going to be joining us for the next 6 weeks. Which is awesome.
Which is going to be so great, guys. So a big thank you from us and the rest of the team. It makes this happen every time. Super cool. You guys are all hanging out after quite a while, which is so fun. If you're excited for more stuff like this, we do more workshops like this, but they're probably 7-8 months in between. But yeah, I just want to encourage you. We'll end with this, guys. There's never been a better time to be a creative. There's never been a better time to be self-employed. And I just want to really make sure you guys know that as we wrap up this call, 2026 can be your year. You just have to make a decision to make it your year, put in the work the same way Christy and I have, the same way a lot of you guys on this call have, same way Owen, Rebekah, Taylor has, and it can change your life. You will be shocked with what a couple good months of really hard work in the right direction, okay? Not in the wrong direction, because hard work isn't necessarily always the key, but it's hard work in the right direction. You'll be shocked at where they can have you end up. So just want to encourage you guys with that. We'll leave you with that. Thank you for being here.
Bogey.
He just woke up. He's been sleeping for like 3 hours on the ground. But thanks for being here, guys. We'll catch you guys soon. Replay is going live tomorrow. We'll catch you soon, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.